Welcome to Dark. Open your mind. Dark.
X gon' give it to you, huh? He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. He gon' give it. They ain't never gave nothing to me. Every time I turn around, cats got their heads out, wanting something from me. I ain't got it, so you can't get it. Let's leave it at that, cause I ain't with it. I ain't with it.
Open your mind.
You know. They don't know.
Open your mind.
X gon' give it to you, huh? He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. I ain't with it. You know. X gon' give it to you, huh? He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you, huh? He gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you. X gon' give it to you.
Open your mind.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Popular Thought Series right here on the old TPOT YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Tonight, DXL, Dark X Live, and I'm going to have my man Cory Haywood up here tonight. I invited a few other brothers as well. I don't know how it's going to go tonight because we're going up against a lot of different lives. So, you know, the crowd is probably going to be extra small tonight because I know a few brothers is going live tonight. And, you know, their platforms are way bigger than mine. So, you know, it may take a while for people to get up in here. But just the same, that's what we're talking about tonight. Got a couple donations last night when I was on the air. So like always, you know, I got to start off with that. I want to thank y'all, you know, for your generous coin contributions. I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I do. That's why I start the show off every night, you know, that I come on thanking you, you know, for dropping your coins on me and supporting this platform. But like I always say, I consider you supporter. If you show up here every week, I consider you a supporter. if you watch these videos, share these streams, like the videos, write things in the comment section. I consider you all to be supporters, not just the people who drop coins. Now, don't get me wrong. Coins are good. I'm not going to sit up here and say I don't like money, because that's stupid and it would be a lie. But you don't just have to drop coins on this platform for me to consider you a supporter. I consider all of you supporters. I do. I'm humbled. I'm honored with the fact that, you take your hard-earned money and you spend it on this platform. I'm grateful. I'm appreciative, and I thank all of you. I do. But anyway, let's get to it. Tonight, Dark X Live, SunLight on the Suns. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight is because it always seems like we don't care that much for black boys. So eventually we don't care for black men. Now, I know people will say, oh, that's not true, but it is true, man. It is true. Black boys have a tendency to suffer under the weight of society more than any other black people. They're always promoting girls. They're always promoting women. They do that all the time. So, I mean, at some point we have to realize that, hey, we're not supporting young black boys. We're not supporting young black men. We're not, not the way we should be. We don't support them. We don't bring up initiatives the way we do black girls. We don't support initiatives that usually support something that would improve the lives of young black men. Now, don't get me wrong. Of course, there's some things out there that that help black men. Okay, there's some things out there that help young black boys, certain schools, certain programs, but those things are few and far between, and they are infinitesimal in number count. Now, mind you, people will tell you that, because we have YouTube channels and shit, that we're somehow helping young black men. But I would venture to say that young children, we're not talking about the people who are in their 20s and 30s and 40s. I'm talking about small, little tykes. I'm talking about boys that are 8 and under. Okay. I'm talking about boys 8 through 12. I mean, there's not a lot out there that supports these young men, especially the ones who are without fathers, without fathers in their lives. There's not a lot supporting these young sons. So tonight, we're going to try to shine some sunlight on the sons. I'm a son, obviously. I mean, all of us are a son and a daughter of somebody, right? Unless we was born in a fucking laboratory. But I'm a son. I'm a son. So why would I not? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to see if I can get my man Haywood in here. Hold on. He hit me up. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Brother Haywood, what's good, man? I need you coming in on the other side, man. I might have sent you. Oh, here we go with this shit. Well, I'm gonna send you an invite. Did you get the invite? What the fuck, man? What's going on? This shit always happens, man. God damn it, Cory. This shit always happens, man. Okay. I'm gonna send it again, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the link through. So when you hit the link, it's just taking you to the app. It's not bringing you into the Hangout. Okay. All right. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to email you the link. Probably if I email you the link through another email, you might can do it. So I'll email it through another email and see if we can get this thing cracking. All right. It's coming through in like a minute. All right. All right. Yeah, I always had this goddamn problem when I'm trying to get Brother Haywood on, because for some reason, it's always some bullshit. God damn it. Something always happens. All right, let me see. I have to send it through. Let me see. Because usually this is what I do. I have to send it through my other email. And the shit works for some reason. Don't ask me why, y'all. That's what happens. I usually have to send it through the other email. That's usually what I gotta do. Send it through the other email. And then he usually can get it. Let me see what happens here. Be forgetting sometime that goddamn gotta do some special shit when I'm fucking with Cory. Goddamn it. But anyway, while we waiting for Brother Haywood to come through, like I was saying before, I'm a son. Okay, I'm somebody's son. And see, I was fortunate. You know, I was raised by my old man. My old man, blue collar, uh, part time, silverback gorilla, sometime uh sometimes silverback gorilla, sometime rhino. You know, I mean, I was raised by that guy. Blue collar man, had his own business for many, many years. I worked alongside my father from the time I was about 7 years old up until, you know, I was old enough to like move out. And, you know, throughout my life as a young man, you know, I spent a lot of time with my dad. So I was taught work ethic. I was taught responsibility. I was taught taking care of my family. I was taught paying for what I want. I was taught to, you know, pay for my life. You know, I was taught to, you know, do the things that you're supposed to do as a man to take care of you and yours. I was taught that. Um, and a lot of brothers don't have that, man. They don't, for some reason, they don't have it. They don't have a man, you know, teaching them how to be a man. They don't have a man teaching them how a man should think, how a man should carry himself, what a man should be doing with his time, um, the things that a man should do, the things that a man shouldn't do. You know, a lot of young boys don't have that. So as they grow into as they grow into uh, adolescents and teenagers and eventually adults, they come into it kind of unprepared. Now, if they don't have a father, they're basically learning as they go for the most part, because their old mamas ain't teaching them shit about manhood, because she can't. The only thing she can teach them is based on the experience that she's had with men. Okay, especially if she's somebody who didn't have a father in her life either. She's not going to be able to teach them too much about being a man, manhood responsibilities. She's not really going to teach them that much. She just can't. You know, and I know a lot of ladies out there will say, oh, well, you know, I teach out bullshit. I ain't even trying to hear it. Okay, a damn young boy, he'll learn more uh, uh, with his father on the weekend, and his father lives in the woods in a treehouse, okay, than he will with one of these old mamas in a month living in the mansion. So that that is just what that is. So I'm not even trying to hear that. A lot of these young boys, this is all they have. You know, they have their old mama who emasculates them, uh, does her best to effeminize the boy, does her best to suppress and suffocate his masculinity. She does her best to do that, whether it be directly or indirectly. All right. So there's not a lot of focus on the sons of Black society. There's just not. All right. We can say what we want. We can talk about the reasons. We can talk about how they don't have fathers and all that kind of stuff. But all that stuff is way beyond what I'm trying to talk about tonight. I mean, yeah, they don't have fathers, and we can go all into why they don't have fathers. We can go all into where the Black men are and all this kind of nonsense. We can go into all of that. But all that talk does not help that 7-year-old boy sitting on a stoop somewhere, not knowing what to do with himself. All that talk, it doesn't help that 12-year-old kid who lived with his mama and wondering why he can't have a sandwich. So none of that shit helps. None of that, oh, well, we need to do this and we need to do that. Yeah, we need to do a lot of shit. But none of that shit helps these young men right now. None of it. Because guess what? 8, 9, 10-year-old boys, they ain't watching YouTube. Most of them. They somewhere on the Xbox, on the PlayStation. They're not watching YouTube. And most of the stuff that we talk about ain't really directed towards the sons anyway. Most of it ain't directed to that. Most of it is directed to what? Adults, people who are already, hey, what's good, brother? Fantastic. Yeah, man. Come on up, man. Come on up. I'll send you the link. Most of us, we got to admit, man, that the sons of Black society are suffering. They just are. I mean, we can sit up there and complain and talk about all this other bullshit. We can talk about the pyramids and, all these quote unquote Black organizations who quote unquote help Black folks. None of that shit is helping these boys, man. None of that shit. None of it is. None of it. But we'll sit back and talk like we really doing shit for them. And really we not. All right. A lot of us, we ain't even doing shit for our own sons. We ain't even doing shit for them. We're not. We're not. Like I said, man, I look back on my childhood, man, and, I consider myself fortunate, man, because, I mean, when you got a bunch of boys being born, okay, with no fathers, all right, no fathers, got this old whole bag mama who don't give a damn about them, okay, don't give a shit about them. They're not teaching them shit. So what do the boys have to do? They have to fall back on their own devices, man. They're learning from the street and all this kind of nonsense. They're doing that kind of shit, And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. Now, people will take issue with that, because for some reason, we have a tendency to kind of glorify that whole street life shit, even though it doesn't really lead to anything. Now, you have people who throw those one-offs at you, because we are a society of one-offs. We can name you one person, who was in the hood and made it out of the hood and became great, right? But we can't name you 100 people. Shit, we can't even name you 10 people. But we quick to name these goddamn one-offs of these sons of these baby mamas. We can name one that came up out of the hood and became great. But what about the rest of them? What is their fate? And it has to go beyond, media and YouTube and Facebook and all this kind of nonsense. It has to go beyond that. Now, mind you, I have a lot of nephews, right? I have quite a few nephews. And some of them don't have fathers, right? And they come, it's summertime, they come by from time to time. I take them with me. I buy them soccer balls and basketballs. I let them work with me in my shop sometime. Not fucking with too much shit because I got too much expensive shit in there. But I let them work in my shop and all that shit. because you know they're part of my family. You know what I'm saying? They're part of my family. So I take them, you know, and show them some shit, teach them how to use tools and all that kind of shit. I give them some of the shit that I got when I was little. You know I can't be their old man. I ain't trying to be. Fuck that. My kids are grown. My youngest is 21. I know I can't be their father, but I can, you know, kind of, you know, give them some, you know, give them something that I know they're not getting from their old mama. All right. I mean, I jump on their mom about emasculating them and feminizing them and, you know, telling them to say pee instead of piss, you know, that kind of shit. I jump on her ass about that shit. I do. And they just my nephews. They're not my sons. I jump on her. Why? Because see, she doesn't realize what she's doing to them as young men. She has no idea, but I do. I do understand what the fuck she doing. So I jump on her ass, even though they're not my sons. We done been joined by Brother Fantastic. What's good, man?
What's going on, X man? I appreciate the invite, man.
Oh, absolutely, man. I was listening. You know what I was listening to today, man? I was listening to you on out in the shop. I was listening to you on Game Changers shit. It was something for like a month ago though.
Uh-huh.
It was you, Game Changer. I think CRU, BGS was on there, a few others and shit. And I was telling Brother Supreme, I was like, fucking Mr. Fantastic, man. Motherfuckers talk a lot of shit about this motherfucker, but he got some good motherfucking talking points and his shit makes sense, man. The shit makes sense, man. I said, I like this brother, man.
I appreciate it, man. I try, man. I just try to keep the logic in everything, bro.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of us are anti-logic like a motherfucker. So I guess that's why you run into so much goddamn resistance. But we
Yeah,
don't
bro.
I see my man Art Style in the chat and the OGJ Speed. Let me know, man, if y'all want to come up, man, because I'm up here chopping it up with Brother Fantastic. Let me know if y'all want to come up. So let me ask you, Brother Fantastic. I don't know if you're a father or not. Are you a
Yeah,
father?
yeah. I'm a father.
Okay.
I'm a father of three.
Okay. Do you have sons?
Yeah, two sons, one daughter.
Okay. 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 So you will know exactly where I'm coming from. I know when I was raising my sons, you know, my sons are in their 30s now. They're in their early 30s now. When I was raising my sons, I had a good template because see, I was raised by my old man. So even when I was kind of confused about shit, you know, I was kind of able to fall back on the shit that my old man taught me. And we know that most kids growing up today don't have that shit. Okay. They don't have a father that's there. You know, all they got is, you know, the Negroes that's traipsing back and forth in and out of mama's room like it's a goddamn cigar lounge. You know, they don't have a father. And what I think happens is we kind of devalue fatherhood. So in essence, we're devaluing sons because I believe that fathers are now, of course, it's incremental for a father to be in a female's life too. But man, when a father is not in a young man's life, I think that is heavy. That's a heavy, heavy thing, man. And I think we underestimate the importance of that, and we underestimate the effect that it has on sons. What you think?
Hey, man, I couldn't agree with you more, bro. Everything you said was like heavy wisdom, and I hope anybody listening understand this. I can tell you, both sides of that story because I was in the exact opposite situation. I grew up without my father, but fortunately for me, I was able to see the value in being a father of me not having him. So I made sure, and I made one of the promises I made to myself is if and when I ever had kids, my number one claim to fame in life I want to ever be is I was a great father. Fatherhood is so important, man. Because like you said, man, it's nothing like a woman raising a boy and you having to learn what manhood is as a man. there's so many pitfalls and so many things and mistakes that I made because, I didn't know how to handle the situation because I didn't know how to look at the world from a man's perspective. I had to learn manhood as an adult male, and like you said, it's extremely, extremely important to implant those seeds, like you said you did for your nephews, and that masculinity and that logic and all those different things into your kids, into your sons as children, because you don't want to learn on the fly, man. Especially as a man and a black man itself, is so you already have so many other things that could, keep you out of something. You don't want to add to yourself as being an obstacle. So I'm in a situation here because of my first set of kids were twins. I had them from a previous relationship that didn't work out. And my youngest son I had him with my wife. My youngest son living with me now. A military thing, bro. All this stuff is crazy or whatever, but just in having my son now and me having to finally put hands on him and mold him, and teach him those certain things because he's been around his mom so much. That in itself is just so critical, man. And me seeing him, changing over, giving him our mantra, like our family mantra of what the definition of manhood is, what men do. Men learn, we earn, we teach. What I'm saying? We get better every day. Those little things like that you implant at a very early age, and like say you train up a child and they'll never depart from it. So yeah, man, you drop, seismic knowledge right there. X is no denying that. Anybody that would, they just don't understand. Like you said, I think manhood in itself and fatherhood in itself is not just devalued in the black culture. It's American culture in itself. That's because of this whole feminism bullshit agenda, and it keeps everybody paid but the man. So that's a whole nother story, though.
Yeah, man. And, I spoke earlier about, we have all these things within black society, black girls rock, uh, promote black girls, etc., etc. But we don't have anything for, young black men. I'm talking about the little tykes, that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We don't have any of that shit for them. I mean, we don't have any of those things that they push and push and push and push and push for young females, but young black females, but young black males, they can care less. Um, it's almost as like young black males are expendable. They don't care what happens to them because I think what often happens is we look at the young black males and we see what we see: future drug dealers, future thugs, future freaking inmates, future corpses, if you will. I mean, because of the societal norms within black society, I think we don't put a lot of emphasis on the young black males, on the sons, because we don't think they have a high enough value. We don't think they're as valued as much as the girls. Now, don't get me wrong, because I got 2 sons and 2 daughters, okay? And I put a lot of time into all of my children, but the children who spent the most time with me were my sons, you know? They were the oldest. I had them first. So, of course, they got more time with me than my daughters did because, see, I knew that they, in time, would emulate me, not like my daughters. My daughters would take the things that I teach her and use those in her life. But I knew my sons would emulate me for the most part. So I made it my business, to try to not only teach them the things of manhood and malehood. I tried to teach them, I wanted them to know about science. I wanted them to know about mathematics. I wanted them to know about English. I wanted them to know a whole bunch of shit. I wanted to cram as much shit into them as I possibly could. Why? Because I wanted them to be able to circumnavigate this world as a black man, as I had to do. That's what I wanted for them. And I think that we're not putting that into the sons. We're not. I don't think these sons of black society, especially these sons of baby mama black society, they are not getting that. They're not being taught shit. They're not being taught manhood. They're not being taught structure. They're not being taught discipline. They're not being taught self-control. They're not being taught any of that shit because, see, they're being raised by these women. Now, mind you, I'm not going to be the one to run into the projects and take all y'all kids, you know, onto a ranch somewhere for the summer. I'm not that dude. I'm not. I'm not going to be the one to take your sons, you know, for a summer vacation. I'm not that guy. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I don't have the resources. I don't have the time, nor the interest. But what I will do is, if you have sons, okay, that don't have any male influence in their life, I can tell you women this: get him some, okay? Just like you can go out there and shake your ass and get you a man, get your black ass out there and find a karate coach, a football coach, a baseball coach, a track coach, some goddamn body to kind of give your sons some male perspectives on things, okay? So he won't be sitting down to take a piss when he's 20. But we've been joined by the OG, J Speed. What's good, OG?
I'm gonna have to apologize for this microphone. I'm not even at my studio now, so but I'm gonna try it. What's going on, Mr. Fantastic?
What's going on, OG?
Yeah, you got it, man. Two brothers on here with shirts off, man. We're gonna look like we running a strip club up in here.
like goddamn, I was just about to say that shit. It's like Chippendales.
But you know, this is when I had my best. This is when I had my best time back in my 30s. This is a picture I used for when I was working in the movie industry, and I ain't gonna never get rid of it because I came up in the generation when it was okay for a brother to take his shirt off. But in this time today now, people think you must be a fag or something. I can't even use that word. I apologize for using that word on your channel, man. But they must think you gay or something if you take your shirt off. But see, that's them brothers who was raised by them women by themselves. They never seen a man with his shirt off. I mean, unless they busting there and seen somebody doing his mom or something like that. But other than that, they ain't too much seen no guy with his shirt off. But you know what I mean? You know what? You make some good points. Both of y'all made some good points about that. I wish I can get that study that was done back in 1993 about fathers, the importance of father. It was done in Texas too. And it was a real long, extensive study they did for fathers in their children's life. And believe it or not, the fathers who were single had a better outcome in their children than the women who were single. And that study was done in Texas in 1993. I mean, I was in a club called, I'm going to say an organization called My Child Say Daddy. But anyway, yeah, man, it's very important. But we mustn't. I mean, I can tell when a guy been raised by a woman because when he goes now, you know, you go in that man's bathroom, man, and he's sitting up there having too much conversation while y'all sitting up there in the stalls, man. And it's like, you know, stirring her. So you know, then you're like, look, bro, we really don't have these kind of conversations while my head is full like this, or they'll piss on your shoes or something like that because they used to sitting down. And so that's the conversation they used to have with their mother. So you know, you can tell the brothers who really didn't have, who didn't have any male. So you said it, Brother X. Look, man, my father was a truck driver. He only really spent time with me on the weekends because he was a long run truck driver. But just like you said, I had Bruce Lee first student teach me. I had my uncle who was a boxer in New York teach me. I had my football coach, my swimming coach, and all he was male figures, man. So yes, ladies, you can go out there and find mentors for your sons because it's very important. But Mr. X, let's don't forget, and I know this ain't part of the show, but I'm gonna bring it just a little bit snippet of it. See, when there's a father in the house and then there's a girl in the house, man, I got 4 sons, but that daughter changed me around. It brings balance to her life where she ain't out there looking for anything crazy because she understands she has so much love. You know, daughters fall in love with their fathers if they good fathers, but not in no sexual way. They fall in love with their fathers where they're like, if you a good father, she'll go out there and most likely she'll do the right thing. You know what I mean? So that's my experience, you know, as far as, you know, raising my 4 sons. 2 of them I raised single out here in California. They didn't like it. They went back home, but they turned out to be good, man. And it's just like, you're right, their importance, and I don't know why women don't understand the importance of that father in that son's life. And I ain't trying to bash on them, but we all gotta learn, man. We gotta learn. If it took 2 of us in that bedroom, it's gonna take 2 of us when we come out of that bedroom. And whatever we produce, it's gonna take 2 of us to raise it. You know, and that's something we forgetting about now because we went through that syndrome. I don't need a man. Right. You don't need a man. And so that's what God did. He took all the men out of your damn life. And now the 80% who were raising sons by themselves, look what your ass don't produce.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that too, you know, because I got baby mamas, you know, that's related to me, and, you know, baby mamas that I know. And they say that, oh, I don't need no man. Yeah, fine. Maybe you don't. But them boys of yours do. They do need a goddamn man. Maybe your black ass don't, but they do. All right. I was just talking about earlier, you know, how my nephews come over, you know, from time to time. And I got, you know, 4 of them. I got like 4 nephews. And they come over, you know, and I do shit with them. You know, I have them out there and shit in my garden and shit. We plant, you know, we plant shit and we weed the garden. I take them to my shop, let them work around in there, you know, that kind of shit. You know, take them for a ride. Next week, I'm gonna take them all on a fishing trip, you know, that kind of shit, you know. But those are the people within my circle of influence, you know. That's why I have an affinity for them. Plus, you know, their old man is who the hell knows where the hell he at. But I try to, you know, interject some because I can't be around them all the time because guess what? My ass work 6 days a week, sun up to sundown. So of course I can't be around them all the time. But when I do have the time, I try to, you know, let them be around me, you know, show them some shit, teach them shit. You know, I even drop gems on them about, you know, women and the things they need to do as a young man. You know, I do that shit too because I think they need it. I jump on their mama. Yeah, I jump on her. You know, if I catch her kind of emasculating them, because you know, I pick that shit right out. I jump right on. I'll be like, you need to stop doing that shit. You know?
I want to ask Mr. Fantastic a question. Um, I'm not a I'm not a big person on military as far as because we're in too many wars now, but would you know any alternatives like the Coast Guard or other places that young men, especially black men, could black sons could grow up and get into some kind of military type, you know, discipline? Because I went to military school, so I got discipline, so I know it do work. I mean, there used to be a thing here called Job Corps, but they don't have it anymore running like they used to. Could you just speak on what is some good opportunities for young men to go in there and get structure and discipline as far as when it comes to military or whatever? If I was going to tell anybody to go to military, I'd say Air Force or Navy. So could you explain on that since you have been in the military?
Oh, just like you a fortune teller, man. I'm actually about to do a video on that because I hit 16 years on Sunday, so I'm still active duty, and
Okay.
yeah, um the military in itself, man, and like I said, it's coming from a person, man. My one of the things I hated, I actually absolutely hated being that I was raised by a single mom and my mom was extremely overbearing and whatnot. I hated being told what to do, man. I hated being told what to do. I told myself, like at like around 14, 15 years old. I can't wait till I get 18, because once I get 18, I'm gonna be grown. Ain't gonna have to worry about my mama no more, and ain't nobody gonna be able to tell me what the fuck to do. Couldn't wait. Lo and behold, I went to college or whatever, enrolled in school. I pretty much outgrow home, and my ass went and did the exact same thing I swear I would never do. I went to the fucking military, and it's the best decision I ever made in my life, man. I was never a kid that was out there doing crazy shit, but so on and so forth. But I learned so much, even especially from the aspect of just there's always going to be somebody to tell you what to do. The president of the United States has somebody that tells him what to do. He can't just do whatever the fuck he wants. Okay. Unless you're in like a king and queen, a monarch ran country, pretty much, and even them, they have advisors and things and people that they listen to, because hell, if you just get too crazy and do too crazy shit, your ass end up like Saddam Hussein and what was Buddy? They dragged through the street, the other dude, you end up like them. So yeah, man. If you don't have, if it's a young fella or a young guy in your life that really doesn't have any structure and he doesn't know what he wants to do, or so on and so forth, go to the military, man. I mean, it's a lot of brothers out here, like you said, the percentage of brothers that get incarcerated compared to I'm doing the research now on the percentage of brothers that go to the military. That in itself, if you're gonna give your life away, time away for your life to where you're gonna have to listen to the quote unquote white man anyway, why not do it voluntarily and get paid handsomely for it and get a leg up in society? Because now there are incentives for people to hire veterans. Not only are there incentives for them to hire veterans, the skills you get from the military in itself, bro. I'm a pretty much the equivalent of an aeronautical engineer. I've been working on planes now for 16 years. You know what I'm saying? Helicopters are my expertise. I know the thing back and forth like the back of my hand. And if you want to see how that can translate for you outside the military, I have several people that gotten out and they went over to work overseas. And these people don't understand that these overseas jobs, man, these jobs are tax-free jobs. You can make up to 100K in 6 to 8 months time. Not even the whole year of work. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people do the whole government contractor thing. And there's plenty of other options if you don't want to do that, because you're a family person and you got family. You may not be privy to that. But either way it goes, man, the military opens up so many doors and grants so many opportunities, and it's an easy job. I don't know what, especially the Navy and the Air Force. If you want to do some hardcore things and whatnot, go to the Marines. But good luck with that shit. But yeah, man. As far as the Navy goes, man, I can't complain. Every job gonna have its days where you like, hey, I hate this shit, I don't want to do it. If you get 30 days of leave a year, there's very few jobs gonna give you that. Paid 30 paid days off a year. The pay is pretty solid. Um, job security is nothing like that. The only I wouldn't say the Coast Guard, because I just learned for the first time since this last government shutdown, the Coast Guard, if they have government shutdown, they don't get paid, man, because they I think they're Homeland Security. They're not under the DOD. So but hey, but yeah, man, I haven't had to worry about a paycheck for 16 years. Every first and 15th, that money's in my account. Whether I'm sick, whether I done broke ankles, I done slipped disc in my back, I done had to have surgeries, all those things, and that paycheck never changed. You know what I'm saying? And it gets better with time, and the more rank you get over time. So yeah, man, if you don't have any, if you're sitting at home and you're doing crazy shit, or you don't have any idea what to do, go to the military, man. It's 4 years, and I promise you, as long as you're smart enough to discipline and the things you're gonna lose and use, excuse me, and the just the skill sets and things you're gonna learn, man. Like I said, even from a cultural aspect, man, you run into so many different people. You run into all types of nationalities, ethnicities, races, cultures, all different things, man. I'm so much well rounded, and I literally been around the world. I've been around from one end, like started from where we leave out from Virginia, and I went all around the world. I've literally traveled the whole world around. All right, and the traveling thing too. That's one big thing too. So, yeah, man. If you don't have anything to do, you're not sure, you're unsure, go to the military, man. Just don't be a knucklehead. Don't be out here doing nothing stupid. Get the 4 years over with. That's better than you getting locked up and getting caught up some criminal shit and setting yourself back for a time or losing your life over some nigga shit and street shit, man. It's a win-win going to the military.
Flight Team Hut, so you know what kind of military school I was in, right?
You said what?
I said Flight Team Hut, so now you know
Oh,
what kind of military school I was in.
yeah.
So, but anyway, man, yeah. Could you break down to the opportunities, like for still the people going out there, but you know, I mean, could you break down that you had to keep a certain grade to get this guarantee? Could you break down to them how much advantage they have going to college, where their tuition will be paid and everything? They go in there and do the right thing, keep them grades good in high school, so you can qualify to get in. Because the Air Force and the Navy ain't easy to get in if you don't keep your grades up. You got to be pretty much smart to get in them two institution. I mean, the Marines, you got to be a little tough. The Army pretty much take anything from Salvation Army. So I'm just saying, but to get in the Air Force and get in the Air Force and the Navy, could you explain to them the opportunities they can have for even going to college and having the military pay for their college tuition?
Well, yeah. The military in itself, man, you have to take the ASVAB. I don't remember what it means or what it takes, but it's a test that pretty much they give to you in general. I think most high schools still do it. In general, when I did mine, I didn't even take it serious. I got like I say 10 minutes into the thing, I had my head down on the desk, and my principal that was my elementary school principal. She ended up being my principal again at high school. And she was like, boy, if you don't get up and, you know what I'm saying, just do this thing. So like I said, I did it within whatever the time frame I had left over. I cut high enough to get my rate that I get. And again, Brother X brought up something that's huge, man. Get mechanically inclined, man. Especially for the young brothers out here, man. You'll be surprised how many grown ass men don't know lefty loosey, righty tighty what a screwdriver is.
Can't even turn a damn screwdriver, man. I'd be
Yeah.
like, you know,
They don't know what a
nuts.
screwdriver is. They don't know what a wrench is. They don't know what a ratchet is. Never touched a tool a day in their life, man.
Trying to turn freaking Phillips head screws with a pair of pliers and shit. I'm like, man, what the fuck are you? What are you doing?
yeah, man. Yeah, that things like that. Of course, mathematics and all these things. Grades aren't that crucial as far as the military goes and getting into it, but the ASVAB is going to be everything. As far as tuition goes and all those things in college, that's guaranteed. 4 years of service, and actually is less than that. But the general contract is going to be 4 years of active service, and then you have 4 years inactive, because any military contract you sign is pretty much a minimum of 8 years. And after you get that 4 years done, you get the post 9/11 Montgomery GI Bill. Post 9/11 Montgomery GI Bill consists of pretty much you being able to go to any college or institution that you pay for, that's not pay for, that you qualify for. Some may require you to take the ACT or SAT over again if you are too far removed away from the last time you took the test. But anything you can qualify for, fully paid for, guaranteed by the United States government. All right. And not only is that fully guaranteed and paid for by the United States government, they give you an extra stipend while you're in school to pay for other things, other expenses. And this after you get out. So a lot of things you see people doing, especially the younger guys, if they're young and they're single on their own, they get out of the Navy, work 4 years for the Navy, get out, get a degree, live off of that, get some little rinky-dink, part-time job, not have to work too hard, and they level up and boss up, because they get a degree just after 4 years of working in the military. Not to mention, now you can still get your degree while you're in active duty, because as long as you're active duty, you get tuition assistance, TA, and that's they just reduced it, but still you can take at least 1 or 2 courses a year off of that, and you can actually get your degree while you're in the military on active duty and use your post 9/11 that you can either pass on to your kids, or I don't know if they still have that. They might be changing that up. But even if not, you can use that to get the next level up of a degree. So if you got a bachelor's, you can use that to get your master's, or so on and so forth. So yeah, the opportunities, man, and the advantages of the military. I know a lot of people on this Black Power shit talk down on it and tell you you're working for the white man and so on and so forth. Them same dumbass niggas, you know who they work for? The white man. 9 times out of 10. All right,
They're working at fucking Walmart and shit. So it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
The majority, the number of like Fortune 500 or major corporations that are black owned and black ran are single digit percentages, man. Okay.
Yeah,
so
but you can't tell these motherfuckers that, because they sons of their old mama, and their mama has convinced them not to go to the military. I hear women say this shit, man. I talked about this shit before. I hear women say, "Oh, I don't want my son, to go to the military. He might be killed." Then he walk out and get shot right in front of the goddamn house. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I mean, why would you dissuade your son? Because going to, and I'm not a military guy, but I got a lot of military motherfuckers in my family. You know what I'm saying? I mean, career military guys who were in there like 20 years type shit. So, my 2 oldest brothers, my uncles, 2 of my nephews. So I know military guys. All right. And let me tell you something. These military guys, when they go off to the military, that is doing something with your life. All right. That beats sitting on mama's stoop. That beats sleeping in mama's basement till your ass 35. It beats hanging out on the corner, slinging rock. It beats hanging out in the trap house, ducking bullets. It beats all of that shit. But see, these young men are not told that. They are told by their mothers that, oh, if you go to the military, you're going to be killed. And like I said, right after she get done telling him that, he walked down the block and get shot in the fucking head. But we done been joined by my man, Cory Haywood. What's good, brother Haywood? You finally got here, huh?
Hey, man, it's all good, man. I don't know why it takes so long for me to join these conversations.
Yeah, man. It seems like every time you come through, we got the finagle with the electronics. But you can go ahead and weigh in on this, man. We talking about, we shining some sunlight on the suns, man, because I feel it's needed. What's your take on this whole thing?
You mean sons of black mothers?
Yes. Of course.
Hello?
All right. Who got their phone going? God damn it. Mute your line. God damn it. Why you? You conducting your phone business.
The funny thing is, man, is that the consensus is within the black community, or at least this is what the media is perpetuating, is that black men are apparently responsible for the demise of the black community, that we're not stepping up, we're not taking care of our children or our families, that somehow we have failed the community, and that black women in turn have had to step up, play both roles, and now they have decided that, fuck black men. If they're not going to step up, we're going to do what's necessary to repair and rebuild our community. I hear black women saying that shit all of the time. Well, if the men won't do it, we'll step up and take over, which is bullshit. And they have the same attitude towards their sons, right? What they'll do is talk down. If the father isn't at home, or if the father, let's say, doesn't have full custody and he drops in every now and then to see his boy, what the mother will do to gain more credit or more value in the eyes of her son is she will intentionally put down the father, marginalize his importance, so that the son views her as the center of his life. And he'll take on her traits as well. And that's why you have so many feminized young black men out here who, of course, wouldn't join the military. They don't have the fucking balls or the courage to join the military. They out here wearing skinny jeans and dresses and all kind of shit, makeup. So this is what's happening. And I'm not blaming this fully on black women, but they should definitely be held accountable for, in my opinion, the feminization of black men, the emasculation of black young men. I'm seeing a lot of bitches out here, straight up. And also, just to touch on this idea of hypermasculinity as well, the feminist movement, this third wave or modern feminism that black women have been pulled into is spilling into the way that they parent young black men. I think they're discouraging their sons from being masculine, from learning how to do things that men traditionally are supposed to do. And instead, they're teaching men how to be fucking women, which is why, many of us suck as fathers, which is why many of us can't get a job or hold a job, ain't worth shit. And it's because of, poor parenting and lack of, I would say, strong male role models. I think that's primarily what it is, man. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I can't disagree, man. I mean, when you have a society, right, that all of us on this panel, we're men, and we understand, what it is to be an adult man. We understand what it is. Okay, we understand what it takes. We understand what we have to do. Now, if you have your sons, okay, with you, or if you're in their life a decent amount of time, you're going to make sure that your sons understand these things too, because you know what it takes. You know what it takes to survive. You know what it takes to stay your ass out of jail. You know all of that shit. So you can pour that shit into your sons. But what often happens is, especially, with the rise of the baby mama, like you said, they devalue the father. They tell their sons that, your father, he don't want you, he ain't no good, he blah, blah, blah. And this is what's really crazy. They will make up stories, fabricate, lie about bad shit about the man, but they won't lie about good shit about the man. They won't, they'll be like, oh, your father, he didn't want you. He went off and he had another family and he forgot all about you, which many times just isn't true. But they will fabricate these stories about this bad shit, but they won't fabricate something good. Like, your old man, he love you. It's just that me and him, we don't get along, so he don't come around. I mean, if you're gonna fabricate stories, at least fabricate good stories instead of fabricating bad shit. But see, that's all part of the system. That's all part of the baby mama system. When she's telling these kids how bad the father is, it's usually because she has some type of resentment. She's frustrated because this dude ain't around. Therefore, she tries to make the child internalize these things. So the kid has a hate for a person he doesn't even know.
Exactly. And
he doesn't even know the guy.
And to piggyback on that too, man. I have spoken, because I'm not a father. I don't have any children, but I've spoken to I would say a sizable number, a substantial number of black men who want to have a larger role in the lives of their children, their sons specifically, but they don't even know where their children are. And it's because the mothers of their children have disappeared, taken their children and moved to a different state, to a different city, a different country, hell. And these men have no idea where their children are. Women often use their children as weapons to make the fathers feel like shit. They do it all of the time. And so if you're a man who wants to be, a positive influence in the life of your son or of your daughter, but the mother is making it a challenge for you, right? Eventually you can say, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna wait until my child gets old enough to understand what his mom or what her mom is doing. And so you miss 10, 15, 18 years of your child's life because you can't deal with the mother's drama. It happens all of the time. And I have a problem with the media constantly shining a light on how strong and independent single black mothers are, right? But they aren't giving any credit to black men who are great fathers, black men who are fighting against, I would say, a biased justice system, just to earn custody of their own children. No light is being shed on these problems or these issues, and I think it's bullshit. And I think it's actually part of an overall agenda, really, to make black men pretty much insignificant. right?
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about it.
We
Yeah,
can
right.
help with that though. We can help with that though. See, this is where brothers, older brothers. My oldest is a 43. This is where brothers like who have went through that court system. You take a sister who take her child out of the state or anywhere, and if you are in the state that that child was born and there's no custody order, you can go down to the courtroom and request custody order. And if she don't show up, you already win in default. See, this is what we can't have problems without having solutions. I'm a solution origin type of guy. And I got so many experiences under my belt that I can really help a lot of black men and how to go about and getting custody of their child without even having a lawyer. That's the first thing you want to do is get rid of your lawyer. A lawyer is in the business to make money.
Tell them again, JP. Tell them again, OG.
Lawyers are in this whole game to make money. Matter of fact, they conversate with each other as how much money they go get on the opposite side. So when you understand the protocol, see, this is anything in any institution. When you really understand the rules of engagement and the protocol, then it becomes easy. Don't let that court jargon twist you up. It's still English that you can really understand, and it's so easy now because I used to have to go and spend a lot of time in the library when I was getting custody of my son. But now you can Google every library in the United States now. And so what I'm trying to say is, if brothers, see, a lot of times brothers don't show up in the courtroom because they always think it's unfair. But let me tell you something. It's like the media talk, my brother Cory who was talking. It's the media who puts this kind of information out there about the strong, good women, the single women, but they don't never say the good family. Why they give her so much praise for being single and don't take the two-parent and say they're doing a good job? They don't get that kind of praise. They are always, in our community, it's the single black mom. They want to give her praise. Let me tell you something. If you go down in that courtroom, now I'm going to tell you how simple it is. If you go down in that courtroom and don't attack your mom, but go down there for the best interest of your child, and if you come up with a parenting plan and you write it down and you put it in a brief 2 or 3 days before the custody order is, the jurors go hear the custody, then by the time he get on that bench, he already done read your parenting plan. And a parenting plan is nothing other than this right here. This is the things I want to do with my child. Football games, hockey, school, academics. You put all that in your parenting plan. And when you present that to the courtroom and you go in the courtroom and don't attack the mom, because they're used to each people attacking each other, that just makes good sense for the lawyers to keep that bank account ching, 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 ching. But when you go in there for the best interest of your child, even if the mother has a lawyer or a CPA, I guarantee you, you just do that one simple thing, the parenting plan, you go win the custody of your child, or at least 50% of it. And people don't understand it. The more custody you have of your child, is the less you have
Child
to pay.
support you don't pay. Less child
It's
support you
based
don't
on
pay.
that, man.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys don't understand that. And if you don't get down in that courtroom, she gets everything that she wants because you're too afraid to go down in that courtroom. I understand that. I'm not talking about the people who just disappear. If somebody disappear on you and they don't have a court order for child custody, you can go down and see, when that baby is first born, a male can go down there and file for child custody the first day that child was born. And the court, the only time the court don't take that in consideration is when that child is being breastfed. But other than that, it's fair game. But see, what usually happen is women go down there and file child for court order for child custody, and that's how we get always paying child support because they're the first one. It's the first one win. That's the way this game played. The first one win. So you having problems out of child's mother, you're not being cruel. You just being smart. You go down there and file for child custody. You don't have to wait for her. See, the problem is we always wait for her. We can be the first initiator. And you can tell the court, I want my child raised in this kind of religious. I know his mother's there. You come up with that plan and the court decide exactly where you go from that point. But that's how easy it is, brothers. Don't be afraid of that courtroom.
Yeah, and to the brother Cory and what OG said, man. I'm going through. I went through that whole thing, man. I've had my kid's mom try to turn them against me, and like you said, tell them nothing of the positives and anything that I've done for them, and try to brainwash them into thinking that I'm somehow the bad guy when I've been in my kids' lives since day one. You know what I'm saying? We were in an actual relationship, and I lived with them up until they were like 3 years old, so on and so forth, and then had them on my own, taking care of them by myself for several occasions because me and her were both in the military at one point, and yet and still, because she's bitter over the fact that I moved on and I got married, she deters my kids from having a relationship with me, and I had to pretty much thank God, save my son, save and salvage the relationship I had with my son, through the time I get with him through my custody order that like OG spoke about. Um, the most important thing, man, is to realize that this whole fucking system is indeed rigged against the man. Everybody makes money off the man. The state, the court makes money off the man. The lawyers makes money off the man. Everybody makes money off of you, right? That's why the woman can show up with a public defender. They're gonna give her everything for free. Everything you're gonna get is gonna have to pay. So cut down your own costs. Again, OG is speaking the child support and child custody Bible right here. Get your lazy ass in a fucking court, in a library, court library, or nowadays, like you said, on Google. I pretty much became a family law child support lawyer over, I want to say, a 6-month time frame. At the time I was in it, and I was able to quote you statutes, Florida statutes, and quickly pull them up and point them out as need be by representing myself pro se as a pro se litigant in both child support and child custody or family law. Um, uh, you can't be afraid of this, man. Invest in yourself. And this is not a slight, but I remember I heard the brother, what's his name? Oh, Phil the Advisor. Phil the Advisor said, and I was on the panel when he said it, he's paid $16,000 in legal fees. $16,000 in legal fees just to receive minimal time increase and not gain custody of his children. At the very least, man, invest in yourself. Go down to that courtroom, pay the filing fees, do the paperwork, do yourself a favor, not just only as from a financial standpoint, but as a father, man. Because like I said, if and when these females get a chance to close you out, shut you out, and push you away and keep you away from your children, because they know the only way they can hurt you is through your children. Okay? The only way that a woman that you don't want no more can hurt you is through your wallet or through your kids, man. And trust and believe, if she's bitter and she's hurt, those are the things that she's going to use to try and do it. It's incredibly, incredibly important for you to make sure you stay in the ear of your children and ask them the stuff they're gonna tell you, like, well, hey, what does your mom say about me, or so on and so forth, and things like that. Or what do you feel about me? Am I a good dad? Do you think that? I had to actually ask my kids that, man. And I was hurt by the things I heard, and then I had to pretty much walk them back and down the memory lane of like, well, why would you think that? Well, you don't do this, you don't do that. Well, what do you mean I don't do this, I don't do that? You're like you guys know how much money I'm getting for you? You getting for me a month? And yet still you guys call me and tell me you need clothes, shoes, and whatever else for school, and I still see the money, right? Yes. Well, I'm like, hey man, I'm more than a bank. I'm not just a walking bank. All right. You guys shouldn't just be calling me, and I had to break my son out of that, and in the process of still trying to get my daughter out of it, well, the only time you want to talk to me is when you want something. But again, that goes back to the society where society is making out the man to be not only just a black man, but a man in general, and just being a walking wallet, man. They don't want you to have any type of parental input. They just want you to foot the bill. They want you to take care of it and pay, pay what you owe, be responsible. When they say be responsible to a man, especially a black man, they're telling you, nigga, pay the bill. Pay that money, pay that child support.
Pay up.
Yep, that's it. That's the only thing they give a fuck about, man. They don't give a damn about you having a relationship. They don't have damn about you having any influence. They don't give a damn about you having an emotional attachment. Any of those things, man. So, like I said, it's incredibly important for us to, like I said, get out of this stigma of being afraid to, like I said, you know what I'm saying, kick down and drop nuts on tables in these motherfucking courtrooms, bro. Because you gotta fight to be a part of your kids' lives. Because these females, man, they don't give a damn. And trust and believe that you definitely gonna pay. So at least if you're gonna pay for it, at least why not be a part? You know what I'm saying? And like another thing, big thing too, the amount of time you have with your kids affects the amount of money you're gonna pay in child support. So all those things need to be taken into consideration, man, and definitely acted upon as a grown ass man.
I
And the
gotta
number
agree.
one thing I can tell you is when that child is born, go and get that child a bank account. When you get that child a bank account, start giving that child a prepaid credit card that you have attached to that bank account. Because I'm going to tell you how the court looks at things. You can go in there and you can cry sandbox. I don't send this kind of money. I don't did this kind of money. I don't did this kind of money. If you don't have these type of legal receipts, they don't take none of that in consideration. And so what you can do is you write a check to your son to go in his account from your account. That would be considered as you've been financially taking care of that child. These are little shortcuts that a lot of people won't tell you that you can hold the mother legally bound when you go down in that courtroom by doing these little simple things like this, where she can come in there and say, well, he ain't never did this, he ain't never, and then you got a whole record of this child having a bank account that is in both of y'all names, and everything that you spend on that prepaid credit card or whatever, shoes, pampers, or whatever, it's notarized through that account.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank
you
guys.
you
Okay.
go ahead, Cory. Go ahead.
I just want to say, you know what? And this is actually even deeper than this, man. This is a global attack on black men. Let's just look at this, man. And I'm going to use this as a loose example, right? For years, the heir to play 007 was supposed to be Idris Elba, a black man. That is what the rumors were. That is what everyone expected. And from what I understand, it's going to be a black woman instead. To me, that's a slap in the face to black men. And it points to an overall, again, global marginalization of black men, where black women are getting the better jobs. Black women are getting the raises. They're getting the pay increases. They're getting the opportunities, even when black men are equally qualified for the jobs. And it's because society, the powers that be, know if they empower black women in this way, then they may look at black men as insignificant. Well, we don't need black men. We have what we need to raise our own children, to build our own families. These black men, they view many of us as an anchor, right? As a weak link. And so, because they are getting these opportunities, because economically they're thriving right now, academically they're thriving right now, many of them, not all, but many view black men simply as insignificant. And that points to why they treat black men the way they do in these custody battles. It's because they really truly feel like they don't need us. They feel like they have the ability to be the mother and the father. And that is encouraged by the media. It's encouraged, again, by the opportunities that they receive professionally. It's encouraged by the opportunities that they're getting in Hollywood. All you have to do is watch TV, read the magazines. You see it all of the time. Black women are constantly elevated, and black men, we are being pushed further and further into the background. This is happening, y'all. Somebody has to step up and stop it, or at least point it out. It's like we're sitting and letting this shit happen. We are just watching it unfold. It's fucking ridiculous.
And,
yeah, but brother,
and also,
go ahead.
And also, when you have women, right, who preach the disdain of black men, they talk about, like you said, how insignificant, and lights flickering in this motherfucker. They talk about how insignificant black men are, and a lot of these women, like Brother Fantastic was saying, they do this shit not only in front of the child, but will actually sit the child down and say this shit. So if you're telling this young boy how insignificant, how how troublesome, how no good, how absent this man is, what are you teaching this young boy about himself? You understand? What are you teaching him when you saying your old daddy, he ain't shit. Your old daddy don't want you. Your old daddy is this. Your old daddy is that. Now, him being a male, he probably identifies, well, at least he should identify more with even this man who's not around, more so than his old mama. So if this young boy is study hearing how men ain't shit, your daddy ain't shit, men ain't shit, your daddy ain't shit, what does that teach that young boy? What is that young boy internalizing from hearing all this shit? He's hearing his mama talk about how bad his father is, how men ain't worth a dime, how she's the mama and the father. So how can this young man, especially if he's a little kid, how can this kid have any confidence as a male when he has his mother constantly telling him how men ain't worth a shit? I mean, that shit right there puzzles me more than anything else, because not only are you more than likely keeping the freaking child away from the man, you're also freaking verbally assaulting the man, okay, in front of the child, to the child, knowing that this is going to hurt this kid. I mean, this is going to be detrimental. This isn't going to help the kid by you telling him how bad his father is, even if his father's not around, because all you're doing is ginning up the resentment, ginning up the hate, ginning up the dislike for this man, even though he doesn't know them. That's why I tell, and I've told many brothers this out in the real world, not just here on YouTube. I've told brothers out in the real world that I have dealt with, and they said, well, I want to, my pops, he reached out to me, he wasn't in my life when I was younger, what should I do? What I tell them is go meet that man, talk to that man, get his side of the story, okay? Find out what happened. Find out why he wasn't in your life. Because see, one thing about men, if we was a shitty dad to you, we'll tell you, hey, man, we apologize. We was a shitty dad. We wasn't around. As men, we don't have a problem doing that. We don't have a problem doing that. So if you, and I'm talking to you brothers out there now, you young brothers, if your father was not in your life and you have an opportunity now that you're an adult and away from your old black ass mama, you have an opportunity to meet that man and he's still alive. Man, go meet that man. Go get his side of the story. Because it's not like your mama going to tell you the whole truth. She's going to tell you everything from her own narrative. She's not going to tell you that your father left because she screwed his brother. She's not going to tell you that. She's not going to tell you your father left because she was old miserable trap household. She's not going to tell you that either. She's not going to tell you how she kept you away from your father even though he wanted to see you. She's not going to tell you that. So if you have an opportunity to meet your father, he wasn't in your life when you were a child. You didn't have any control over it. Now you do. Go talk to that man. Get his side of the story, okay? Get his side of the story. Forget what your old mama told you. Forget all of that, because most of that shit probably lies anyway. Go ahead, meet that man. Go ahead, Cory.
I think we have to be honest also about the fact that, yes, there are plenty of black men who are shitty fathers, who are completely absent from the lives of their children.
True.
But guess what? Many of these Negroes, right, aren't fit to be fathers. And the women knew it when they procreated with these niggas. Let's just be real. You have black women out here giving birth to children by the Pookies and Ray Rays of the world. Let's just be real here. You women know who the fuck you dealing with. He can't keep a job, but you expect him to be a good father? He doesn't have enough discipline. He doesn't have enough sense to stay out of jail, but she's going to have his baby. And women continue to do this and have multiple children by multiple men who ain't shit, thereby perpetuating the broken black family in this country. This is an issue that we also need to touch upon. Because, yes, there are terrible fucking fathers, but the question is, why do black women gravitate to men like this? Why do they continue to procreate with men like this? This is a narrative that we also really need to tackle as well, because it's happening all of the fucking time. And so again, when on Father's Day and on Mother's Day, when I see women that say, you know what, I'm a single mother, I deserve double the praise because my father, or rather that broke ass nigga ain't in his child's life, I'm handling everything. I asked that woman, well, should we really be praising you right now? Is this something to actually celebrate? Or did you knowingly fuck with a nigga who had 3 felonies and no job and no intention of being there for your kids? Is that who you had a kid with? Because if that's the case, you don't deserve praise. You're a fool. You're a fucking idiot. And there are plenty of women out there doing this shit. We need to talk about that too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Or this is what kills me, because I know a few women who've done this. I mean, they done had babies by somebody who already got 5 and 6 baby mamas, and he ain't doing shit for those 5 or 6. So, I mean, that really perplexes me. Like, you know, he got 5 baby mamas already that he ain't doing shit for, but somehow you felt the need to receive his semen. You felt the need to do it. I mean, that kind of shit there is just crazy. And when that kind of shit happens, man, all it does is perpetuate the cycle, man, because a lot of times, you know, you have brothers like Brother Fantastic here, right? He said that his father wasn't really in his life like that. So he wanted to be a brother who wasn't like his father. But let us be clear. More often than not, when you a fucking guy and you never had a father in your goddamn life, okay, because your mama done picked the wrong dude to bust a nut in her, it's a pretty good chance that you're probably not going to be that great of a father either. There's a pretty good chance, because see, if you don't have a father, there's probably a pretty good chance that you're not going to be that solid of a man, to be honest. I mean, the odds are against you. I mean, of course, we have the outliers. We have the brothers like Brother Fantastic, but he's an outlier, man. He's an exception. The overwhelming majority of these dudes, and I've talked about this before, the overwhelming majority of these dudes, man, who come out of these baby mama homes, these are the people in prison. These are the people who filling up the goddamn cemeteries. These are the people running out shooting people in the head over a pair of sneakers. I mean, these are the people. Let us be clear. Now, I know people go, oh, that's not bullshit, man. Bullshit. These are the people. When you got people inside black society, when you got these dudes in black society out here doing all this crazy shit, more than likely they was raised by some old mama, okay? No father. She never tried to seek out any type of male influence from. And I'm heavy on that shit. You know why? Because see, even fine, you done went ahead and had this baby by this damn dude who got 7 baby mamas already, and goddamn it, he in and out of prison for 5-year stretches at a time. Okay, that's over. You done had the baby. Now that you know that this dude ain't gonna be in this kid's life anymore, you need to be working hard, okay, trying to get some type of male influence in this boy's life, whether it be your father, if you got one, your brother, if you got one, your uncle, your grandfather, somebody, some man needs to be in this kid's life, because if all he got is your ass, okay, especially if you one of those chicks who, you know, got a new baby in her gut every year it's a new baby in her gut, you need to have that boy around somebody, okay, of male influence, because you're not teaching him shit. You're not. You ain't teaching that boy shit. All you doing is teaching him to be just like you, which is dangerous for him. as a man. Because see, if he do the shit his mama do, guess what? He'll fuck around and get killed behind that shit. And likewise, he goes out doing the shit that his mama do and kill somebody else. So it's dangerous on both sides of that. Because if he go out there doing some of that shit that his mama do, he'll fuck around and get himself killed. And a lot of times he go out there doing that same shit that his mama do, fuck around and kill somebody else. But go ahead.
I mean, that's totally right. I've always, I've been, and this doesn't apply to all black men, but you have to ask yourself the question, why are so many young black men seemingly incapable or unwilling to control their impulses and emotions? It seems like the default response to a hostile situation with so many black men is to fight. When they are presented with conflict, when they have a disagreement with someone else, it seems like for many of them, their first instinct is to fight. They don't talk, they don't use logic or reason, they fight. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Where does that come from? What is the root cause of this behavior? Is it because their mothers may be the same way? Is it because they have been watching this behavior their entire lives when they were young and impressionable, right? Watching and observing their mothers behaving this way and picking up on it. And now as adults, they're mimicking the same behavior. We have to ask ourselves why young black men are running on the street.
Can I tell you something, my brother? Can I tell you something? And I know probably 100% of y'all gonna disagree with me, but I'm gonna have to put it out there since you asked the question. Number one is, I believe it comes from emotional mom who's raising that child by themselves and too much spanking and not enough discipline, because there is a difference between the two. I'm gonna tell you that my last two children are totally different from my first three. And the difference of, I didn't spank the last two. Because when I went to Africa, I didn't see African women or men spanking their children. They spoke to them. And I know that sounds crazy here, time out, whatever. I ain't talking about that. It's a totally different method they use in that continent. And it's teaching, training. And I know we came from historically where I got my ass whooped 8 days out of the week, and I'm still looking for that 8th day. I ain't found it yet. Sometimes I used to get spankings 2 times a day. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I know the difference between a pit bull in Beverly Hills and pit bull in LA. Both of them are the same breed. What is the difference? It's the training. That one in LA is wild. He'll bite anything. He'll bite a truck. He'll bite a car. He'll bite a tree. He just want to turn on everything. But that one in Beverly Hills, you pretty much can let your little baby play with him. So what I'm trying to say, we have in the black community been very strong on spanking, using physical violence to control our children. We learned this method from slavery because that's how they control us. And and as I know, you're going to have black people who will fight against me right now against should you spank or should you not spank. I'm not even trying to get in that conversation because I already don't see how it works. What I'm trying to tell you, anytime you hit any kind of animal in there, you stifle that animal. You do the same thing to a human being. Now, you can say that you turned out good, but that's just like George Burns, who smoked 3 cigars every day. He lived to be almost 100 years old. But my question is, why are you trying to validate him living a long life, not validating him what his life could have been if he didn't smoke 2 or 3 cigars a day? Maybe he would have lived to 135, but you're trying to balance his life to everybody else around you. So what I'm trying to say is, when we historically go back and where this beating our children came from, it comes from slavery. It comes from a control mechanism. So I know everybody black pretty much go disagree with me. Look, I thought the same way with my first 3 children. So you want to know why we handle conflict like that when we young men? Because that's where we seen conflicts happen. Every time you did something wrong in the house, you got beaten for it. Every time you did something wrong, you got spanked for it. So when something go wrong outside of your house, you feel it gets time to fight because that's how you handle conflict.
Yep.
And a lot
That's
of people
what
want
you've
to
been taught.
I can put the receipt behind it. I can put the method behind it. I can put the psychology behind it.
I agree with you.
We'll be a lot better if we keep our hands off our children.
Yeah,
We don't
I agree
beat
with
women
you.
no more. It used to be a time when we could beat women. Why do we won't do that anymore? When we disagree with what they were doing, we would beat them. Nobody's doing that anymore. But when it comes to our children, we feel like they're just something second to none, second to nothing other than importance that we gotta physically harm them to teach them. That ain't the way I got taught. When I went to mechanic school, when I went to body man school, nobody beat me to learn body man. Nobody beat me to be a master mechanic. So we got to stop that. So you want to know the question to your the answer to your question, brother? That's it.
Yeah.
And I agree. Yeah. And I think I also, to piggyback on that too, using physical force to correct behavior, in my opinion, can be effective. The problem is that many parents, it's the vibe. It's sort of like the energy that you put behind it is so negative. When you are beating your child viciously, right, that causes emotional fucking trauma. There's a difference between beating your child to correct behavior or spanking your child to correct behavior.
Let me ask you a question.
Spanking your child because you're mad and you're frustrated.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You at your age right now, you did something wrong. Would you like to be taken down to the goddamn National Football Stadium and flogged on Sunday? Absolutely. You think that would be something great about that?
He said flogged on Sunday.
Flogged on Sunday.
He said flogged.
I'm just asking you think physical violence in any shape or form is good? I'm gonna ask you, if you did something, if you you got a speeding ticket right now, and they say, well, on Sundays, we giving everybody a chance who got a speeding ticket to go down on the NFL down there on Sunday and have your ass flogged about every 10 miles every mile you was going over, that's how many flogs you get. You think there's any benefit in that?
I think that might deter some of the behavior. And again, I'm
not saying deterrent. You can deter people by teaching them. I'm asking you physical violence, using physical violence to have a good outcome.
That's what I'm saying. If the outcome is to deter the behavior, then yes, it could be effective. I'm not
so
disagreeing.
Could you not do the same thing? Wait a minute. Could you not do the same thing by teaching?
Absolutely, you could. But a parent might tell you, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm speaking from the eyes of a parent who might approve of using spanking or physical force to discipline children. I'm saying that a parent might say, well, not all kids are the same. Speaking to certain children may be effective, but others may need a little more. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on the child.
Yeah, at certain points, OG, it's enough talking. All right, I'm with you. You shouldn't be whooping them for every little thing like they did back in your day and somewhat my day. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep talking to you. I'll just say that. All right, I'm gonna give you get the 3-strike rule, and after that, it's obviously that you need. You know what I'm saying? Pain is life's greatest teacher.
Okay, well, why is the coach who your child is influenced by, when you let him introduce that to the coach, or take my boxing coach, or take my martial arts coach? There's pretty much, when I go in that person's presence, that I'm on my best behavior. See, the worst thing about anything about communication is sometimes you as a parent don't have the skill level to understand how to reach your child. Maybe you need to go get some parenting class to learn how to communicate with your child. You get that child to do exactly what you want them to do, where you don't have to do that much talking, because a coach can do it, or a martial arts person can do it. Other people can do it. Preachers can do it. A lot of people can do it. Sometimes we got to say we don't have the skill level to be able to communicate. Just like anything else in life, you can't communicate with everybody in life. I can sit up and tell you some things right now on this channel, and some people will get it, and some people will hear from somebody else, and then they get it. It's not because they didn't hear what I said. It's just I couldn't communicate with them. Sometimes you have to take your child or your children to places where you can learn a skill set where you can communicate a lot better without using any kind of physical force.
I agree, but my man, what you're not considering is there are plenty of law-abiding, well-adjusted, completely functional adults who were spanked as children. You're forgetting about those people. Not everyone turns out to be some violent criminal,
psychopathic serial killer.
That doesn't happen to everybody. It happens to
I understand that. Not everybody, women, not everybody on the Titanic drowned neither. But why do you want them kind of statistics?
No, what I'm saying is, okay, it's an interesting analogy. I would venture to say that there are probably more well-adjusted adults who were spanked than those who aren't, right? So we should focus on the specific group that perhaps act out in violence because of the emotional trauma they received because of spanking, right? You can look at these people and ask other questions. Okay, well, what about these people are different from those who don't behave that way? You can't lump everyone into the same category and say, well, because you're spanked, you're behaving this way. I don't think that applies to everyone. You have to.
So how would you go about the statistics in Africa then?
Well, I mean, this is America.
I'm just asking you a question because we're still human beings. So how would you put that math against the math in Africa?
I would say that the environment in America, particularly within the urban community, the inner city, may be slightly different than what people experience in Africa. Of course, it's still a war-torn nation or country. I get that, right? Continent, but in America, I think young Black men encounter certain forces of evil within their own community that may influence the way they treat themselves and the way they treat others, right? That's in addition to, again, them being perhaps emotionally or physically abused as children. So it's a combination of things, right? You can't just pinpoint one specific reason. I think it's a combination of reasons that in turn creates the well, I won't call them monsters, but the problems that you see on the streets.
And
well,
also,
how would we know?
Hold on a second, OG.
As overall, how would we know if we haven't tried it?
I would also venture to ask, because I don't have the statistics in front of me, but what are the percentages of children in Africa that don't have readily access to a father? What are the percent? Do they have the baby mama rate that we got here in America? Do they have that? Is that, I'm asking because you've been to Africa. I have not. But
no, they don't have. Your question is correct, but see, this is what makes the whole point. The pyramid is if you have one half who don't see the importance of the other half, and you're trying to raise that child. And you trying to raise that child with true balance, and you only have one balance on yourself. You're female. That's who you are. And if it's totally different. But what I'm trying to say is, even though it may be different, I shouldn't have not been able to raise a daughter in California, still a virgin at 20 years old. See, we can't use these excuses why we learn a practice. I mean, I would have the same argument with you right now talking about eating pork, because these are behaviors that we learn and we just don't want to get rid of them, even though it might be affecting our community, even though it might be affecting your health, even though it may be affecting your psyche. But we just don't want to get rid of them because we're so content of what a victim of our own environment. And so this is what I'm just saying is we make all kinds of excuses why we can't do it. But we keep the truth. Your outcome would always tell you the truth of what you're doing. And if that's the case, if ass whooping really worked, we should have the best kids in the United States, because nobody get their ass whooped more than Black children.
Well, can I ask you this? And again, I agree with you, brother, but I do want to present you with this counterpoint, right? So I'm assuming that children were spanked a lot more throughout the early and mid 1900s. They probably got their ass whooped all the time for small shit. So, answer this question. the 1940s, 50s, and 60s produced some of the best and brightest Black minds politically, socially, in the history of this country. If you think about the Dr. Kings and the Malcolm X's and all of the civil rights leaders, all of the bright Black men and women in science and mathematics and engineering, the early 1900s produced that generation. And I know they got their ass whooped all of the time. So how do you explain that?
I can explain it very easily. Very easily, that can be explained. Number one is when you start talking about the 50s, the 60s, 30s, 20s, 1800s, or whatever, you had a group of people who didn't even have a right to even tell a person don't put a loop around their damn neck and hang them in a tree, much less be whipped by a whip. So you had people who was already associated with the worst treatment of humanity. And by the time when it came to their mother and father, that little switching you got, because I remember when I was raised up, you go get 3 switches, they would plat them up like a damn plat and whoop your ass with it. I've been hit with a frying pan, ketchup ball and all. But don't have the George Byrne effect. I told you this early. Don't compare the greatness of a mind in a different time versus the greatness of the mind time we're in now, because you got to understand the struggle was different. The type of people was different. I mean, you can't compare how your mother. Huh?
You have to focus on the era. You have to focus on the time.
Most certainly. I'm saying there was a great associated with the worst treatment on this planet. Right. So a little ass whooping wasn't nothing compared to what they was coming through. But I'm telling you right now, if you don't stop putting your hands on your children, this is what's going to happen. Because we live in a world that's small now due to the smartphone, computer, and technology. They're going to wake up and they're going to wake you up killing your ass if you don't stop it.
Well, now that's a totally
different what I just said. They will wake up.
Oh.
They will wake your ass up and kill you if you don't stop it.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's an extreme example.
No, you say it's extreme, but you got to understand. By the time the average 19-year-old now on a damn play box or game console, he probably don't killed over 100,000 people in his damn game. So now he's neutral to it because he really don't know the statistics of the killer. I understand what you're saying, but he don't he understand. He's neutral to seeing blood. They got games now with blood splattering on the windows and stuff. Looks so real. They're killing old ladies running across the street. So what I'm trying to say, you dealing with a different human being.
Right.
Go and try to whoop a woman ass and see what happens.
What I'm saying is you're speaking against your own premise.
I'm not speaking against you. You're just not listening to what I'm saying. Maybe I'm a little country.
Right. You just mentioned
let me ask you the question. Okay. When you say I'm speaking against it, what am I saying you think I'm speaking against?
No, let me explain. You mentioned video games. That is definitely a factor. Definitely a factor. But you also have to consider rap music, or gangster rap for that matter. You have to also consider gang culture within our community. You have to consider the other environmental factors that may play a role or a part in young Black men being emotionally volatile. It's not just being spanked at home. There are other factors that we have to consider, which is why I don't think we should single out physical force as the primary reason why our young Black men behave this way. There are other factors that are equally important.
Are you not understanding that them damn same rappers you talking about, they was raised by single mothers? Are you not understanding that brothers today versus brothers yesterday, they love their mamas, but they don't like them. Do you understand that? When your mother telling you just what you were saying earlier, that your father's not no good, ain't no man good, all men are dogs and stuff like that, and that male child heard that all his life, who you think he either gonna grow up to be a gangster or he gonna grow up to wear her damn high heels? One or the other. He ain't gonna have no choice.
That's another factor, right? We can put that one on the list. The epidemic of single motherhood in the Black community, we can add that to the list. I'm saying that spanking shouldn't be singled out. I'm saying there are several reasons behind it. And I compared this era to prior eras because back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, shoot 'em up games didn't exist. Gang culture wasn't as much of an issue. The environmental factors that exist today did not exist back then, which is why young black men back in that time, I'm assuming, were probably better behaved, right? So
survival mode. Survival mode.
But
survival
you
mode.
said
They was in
survival
survival
mode.
mode. You were correct. I don't disagree with that. But just because we came from a time, most people don't understand. We had professors in the 1700s, black men who were professors in college. But we want to think about all one way. But I understand all that. But what I'm trying to say is, what is it so hard for us just to get rid of something? It's so simple. Let's get rid of the violence in our own home first.
Well, you say get rid of it as if it's a negative thing. And I'm saying that if you are whipping your children violently, as if you're a slave driver, that's the problem. But if you're using physical force as a means of discipline, right, and you're doing it lovingly, and all that sounds, but if you're doing it from a place of love to correct the behavior, a child can feel that energy. There's a difference.
And you know what I told my mother? I say, look, she said, this gonna hurt me more than hurt you. And then I was, damn, let me do you then. Then it'll hurt you.
Well, hold on. I want to get Brother Fantastic in here. He ain't spoke for a while. Go ahead, Brother Fantastic.
Hey, man. Like I said, man, I understand what Brother OG is saying, man. It's a great concept, but at the end of the day, is using it as a last resort. I believe in that, man, completely and totally. Taking away corporal punishment and so on and so forth. I'm not gonna go down that road because, like I said, I know from myself. It was sometimes where I just needed my ass whooped. I knew better and I did what I wanted to do anyway. And I can tell you, after that ass whooping, I never made the same mistake twice. I never had to do the same thing with my kids to a certain degree and a certain extent. And even in your, what you said, OG, your second set of kids, my son has definitely not received as many, whoopings or whatnot as my older kids did, because like I said, as a parent, you grow, you learn, you understand that, yeah, you just can't whoop your kids for every damn thing. It has to be more teaching moments than beating moments. So I totally agree with that. We need to get away from, that being the first go-to thing, the whole corporal punishment, whooping route, or so on and so forth. And then another thing too, like I think Brother Cory was saying, yeah, man, it's a difference between, whipping your kids or, giving them corporal punishment and just downright beating the damn hell out of them like they some kind of damn old mule or, or damn ragged ass dog or something, man. That you should never get to that point with your own children. It should always be out of a place of love. That's why OG said it and so on and so forth. You should, if you don't know, should take a parenting class here and there. You don't even have to go pay money. Nowadays, you can just turn on a YouTube video and learn. You should never be, giving corporal punishment out of a place of anger when you're angry yourself. It should be a teaching moment if you have to resort to physical punishment and explaining how and why, and why you're doing this and so on and so forth. See, and that's the most important thing, man. Like I said, I found myself a lot more willing and more often. I may yell and raise my voice, and I have to let my son know that, because that's what men do. I'm not your mama. And certain things I'm not going to tolerate, and I'm definitely not going to keep damn talking to you. And I might have to, tell you sit your ass down or something. So, it's not going to be the same way. Daddy and mommy don't operate the same way, and we're not supposed to, because daddies and mommies aren't the same. Your dad's supposed to be harsh. Your dad's supposed to be the enforcer. And I think Cory touched on it just a little bit too. The emasculation by the man and a woman being the person to issue that corporal punishment or that physical punishment, that in itself is a psychological mind warp. If I think that's for lack of better words, the woman is not meant to be the person handing down and delving down the physical punishment. That's the man's job. Okay, so like OG said, when the woman is the one who constantly tries to play this dual hat role, where she's also the nurturer and she's the enforcer, or the person that passes down the corporal punishment, it makes the son extremely confused because, like I say, he loves his mama, but he don't like her because all this time she been the one who's trying to act as a dad, and 9 times out of 10, because of her own personal issues and frustrations and whatnot, she's giving you a lot of the ass whoopings you really didn't deserve. Had she had the patience, or had she had the other person there, it could be the time to where she sits down, she talks to you and talks you through it. But being that she has everything on her own and all she knows is ass whipping, ass whipping, ass whipping, because she's not a fucking great parent herself, and she don't really have no, she doesn't really have, she already trying to do it on her own, and she doesn't have those actual parenting skills, and she's just learning what she dealt with and what she did. Yeah, man, that could be extremely detrimental and crucial to the male psyche and understanding of the male to female dynamic. So yeah, man, you guys are, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of contention going on, but both sides are making great points. And it's just important that, like I said, the most important thing here is, like I said, we concentrate as the men and as fathers to be, what I'm saying, the teacher and, when necessary, the enforcer, versus, like you're saying, these females having a monopoly on rearing our sons and the next generation of men.
I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, me
Totally
too.
agree with that. I can't disagree with that at all.
Because I
want
wanna focus on something that Brother Fantastic said though. Brother Fantastic said that when he has to physically discipline his sons, it's the last resort. It's not the first thing he does when a kid does something. And see, I believe that is a big part of the problem. To piggyback off of what Brother Fantastic just said, these women are beating the shit out of these kids for spilling water on the table. They beating the shit out of these kids for leaving a sock on the couch. Shit like that. Shit.
Cornflakes.
Yes, over shit like that. I mean, a man does not beat his son because his son left a sock on the couch, because your son spilled some water on the table. I have seen this shit, man, many, many, many times. And just like he just said, she is the nurturer, but at the same time, she's the nemesis. Have you ever seen, and I know you brothers have because y'all on media, just like me, have you ever seen these women beating these little kids, these little tykes who 2 and 3 years old? They beat these little kids so bad to the ground. And the first thing that kid do when he get up, first thing he does is reach for the same goddamn person that just got done beating the breath out of him. Now you trying to tell me that don't fuck a young boy up?
Not only do they do that, but they cuss at him too.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
You yelling shit and fucking damage your child in public.
Yeah.
Other people watching.
And he's 2.
We as men gotta stop that though. We gotta stop when we see stuff like that. You know what? We as men, see, this is what I'm just saying is, nowhere else I went in the world that I see men who are so afraid of the community and so afraid of what the reaction might be that we don't speak on truth. And I'm talking, we speak truth on the internet. We speak, I'm not talking about you all, brothers. I'm just talking about us in general, as a community. We don't speak the same truth when we go out in the street, man. And it's ridiculous, because when I see a woman cussing at a child like that, I would say, look, suppose I start cussing at you like that. I'm not telling you how to raise your child, but that's something you shouldn't even be doing in public, because somebody can pick up the phone and tell that you are mentally abusing that child. See, that's what we don't understand. That these things, look, can I just tell y'all, brother, something gonna take me 2 minutes. My son was going, he was 16 years old. He was in high school. They called me Mr. X, and that's before I got my Muhammad behind my name. They called me Mr. X. That's where I went in when I signed him up for school. They called me one day and I was off the set. They called me one day and said, your son, he's walking around with his pants hanging down, and he's causing trouble in the classroom. And I said to myself, that can't be my son. Not a skill, because he got the same name that I got. I'm not a skill, not a skill Muhammad. And they say, yeah, he's. And so I say, you know what? Can you schedule me in a day where I can go with him in every class? And they said, yes. So the next following Monday, I ain't tell him anything. He went to school, right? And I came there lunchtime, just when the lunchtime was getting to go, and I sat in the classroom, and they were saying, and the teacher said, excuse me, we got Mr. X here with his son. He's going to be just looking and observing the school today. And they made that announcement. You know what I told my son? When he got up, I said, look here. Now, for the rest of the day, we go hold hands when we walk down the hall. And he was like, Dad, I ain't no kid no more. I said, well, you're acting like a kid. And that's what we going to do. I'm going to hold your hand. We going to go to lunch. We go hold hands. Do you know I never had a problem out of my son, not only with that issue, but no other issue? Because he said, Daddy, you crazy. He said, you embarrass me. And I said, not as much as you embarrass me. Because when you go to school, you represent me. You represent yourself. You represent the family. I never had a problem out of my son, even today. And that's the oldest one I got. Because I learned how to communicate in a thing that would really touch him.
Well, I've always been one to say, if you got a bullshit ass kid, you follow his ass home, there's probably a bullshit parent behind that goddamn door. And likewise, if you have a decent kid, if you follow that kid home, there's probably some decent parents behind the door. I mean, and you're right, OG, when your kids go out, they do represent you, you know, because if they out there doing a bunch of ridiculous shit, that's probably got more to do with you than anything else, especially if they, 12 and 13. That's probably got a lot to do with you, okay? Yeah. Unless you just, maybe you're a disabled parent or something, you can't really, get on them the way. But if you are up and mobile parent, and your kid is buck wild and acting like a felon already, and he only 11, and he already act like a felon, there's probably something going on at the crib.
The funny thing is, too, these women, you mentioned social media earlier, when their sons and daughters are blatantly disrespecting them in public, they're recording these instances and then presenting the evidence for the whole world to see as if it's cute. Like, oh, look at how sassy my daughter is. Or look at how, grown my son is. He talking like he a man. That's not funny. That's not something that you should be sharing and celebrating with the world. They are promoting this dysfunctional fucking behavior. Another reason why Black women need to be checked. Let me tell you something, man. My father walked out on us when I was 10 years old. And I remember an instance when I think I may have been misbehaving in school. My mother found out, drove me home, and she literally slapped me at every red light on the way home. And somehow we never hit green. Every single red light, I got a pop to the face. Boom. Now, I would say that I'm a pretty well-adjusted adult. I wouldn't blame her or hold her accountable for any of the actions that I have done as an adult. I feel like she was a great parent. And yet she still used physical force to correct my behavior. So again, I have to reiterate that it's possible. But if you look at, on the other hand, a show like, let's say, The Cosby Show, although for some reason Black people have abandoned Bill Cosby, when did he ever once put his hands on Theo in any episode? Not once. He always, when Theo would bring home terrible grades, or when he would act up in school, or when he would lie at home, Cosby would always sit down, Cliff Huxtable, and in that show, and always talk and reason with his son, right? These were teaching moments. And I know I'm using a TV show to make my point here, but if you compare The Cosby Show to anything that Tyler Perry does, what do you see in his movies? Some crazy-ass woman in a muumuu pulling out a belt and whipping everybody she fucking sees.
Even the adults. But, this is the thing. everyone here knows that, with us black folks, we have shit that we just do. That's kind of part of our shit, the belt, the braided switch, the shoe, the whatever. That's kind of what goes on in many, many households, especially households where there's not a man. See, men, we don't beat our children as much as women do. We just don't. I mean, I had 2 sons and 2 daughters, okay? And I mean, sometimes I would have to go across their head, but not that often. Because see, I didn't see, like Brother Fantastic was saying earlier, I didn't have to go to that because of the things that they did do that required that kind of discipline where I had to go across their heads. Those instances were few and far between. I mean, when they did little shit, they got a talking to, I mean, if you leave your sock in the middle of the living room floor, I'm not going to pull out the belt and go across your ass with it. Okay. Not going to go across your ass because you forgot to put the cup in the dishwasher, that kind of shit, but mothers have a tendency to do that. I mean, they want to whip these children for everything. The sons get brutalized for everything.
I'll tell you what it is too. It's because once you reach a certain age, you ain't afraid of your mom anymore. If you 10, 11, 12 years old, you don't have the same fear of your mother as you would of your father. So a black woman eventually recognizes that and will beat you because she really doesn't know what else to do. What is a black woman really going to do with a 7, 8-year-old boy who's almost as big as she is?
Yeah.
She has no fucking idea. That's the problem.
So can we do
He
something?
cut out.
Can we do something for the sons? Can we, like Mr. X, can we have like you have Mr. Fantastic, you have Core and yourself. I know you're a mechanic, you probably run your own business. I'm a retired master mechanic, AS certified. But I got a lot of other things on my belt. When we come up with doing a video just for sons, like things like understanding onboard diagnostics, or understanding how to change a tire, understanding how to put water in the radiator properly. I've been saying and water in the car properly, how to do oil check, stuff like that. Can we do like a once a month, not do something too heavy, but make them understand, the things like, you got guys out there 16, 17 years old who don't know what ABS, OBS, or OBS 1 and 2 mean. You know what I mean? They don't know what that means. They don't know what onboard diagnostics mean. We can give them the basis and stuff, and yeah, they can go on YouTube, but it's better if it comes from us. You know what I mean? All our professionalism and all the things that we know, we can just put a video together, do like once a month, and that's how we contribute back to the community and do things to try to train boys how to become young men. The basic things. I seen some guys the other week, they were scratching their head how to change a tire. And these guys are 20-something years old.
What is this?
And not only did they mess up, they jacked the car wrong and it fell in the middle and put a dent in a damn quarter pounder. So what I'm trying to say is, we can do what we can do. We can complain all we want to. We can complain about a car won't start for 10 years, 12 years, 13 years. But until we want to go out there and fix it, it ain't going to start. So what we can do, we understand what the problem is. Let's be part of the solution where we can contribute just a little bit, where we all come together as our profession and do a little video or something where you can put it up on your channel to train young men, little boys how to become young men on the basic things they need to know in operation of a vehicle, how to fix things around the house or whatever.
If I'm being honest, I'm 31 years old, and if you asked me to change a tire right now, I wouldn't do it smoothly.
Now you see what I'm saying?
Well, you know what I'm saying?
Well, see, well, actually, OG, I have, on my channel, I have a series on my channel that I call the X Explain series. Now, there's only three videos up there because I haven't put shit up there yet. But I teach you how to garden, plant shit, plant your own food. I teach you how to use a auger to unclog a sink. I also teach you how to work on a simple push mower. So I do a little shit, try to help the brothers out because I bill it as something to help the brothers. I look out for the brothers so they can look out for themselves. That's kind of how I bill it.
See,
So
the thing with that is, though, I mean, you gotta realize, it was only 20 or 30 years ago when high schools presented these classes.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes,
And they've been taken out of the schools for a reason, and it's because once again, men, the idea of being a man, at least in the traditional sense of the word, is obsolete. You have women out here trying to redefine what it is to be a man, and it doesn't consist of anything we're talking about right now. That's really
Yeah.
the problem. You can put out as many videos as you want, but you will be competing with the entire fucking world. Feminism is growing as I speak. And it is infiltrating our community and causing young black men to be bitches. These
because
videos
it's
may help a
easier.
few.
It's
Yeah.
easier. It's easier to be effeminate. I mean, it just is. You get away with shit. No one wants to hold you accountable. You can do a lot of things that you absolutely positively couldn't do, okay, when you're bringing it with masculine energy. So I mean, it's easier. It's easier to be feminine or be effeminate. So of course, this is what these boys are gravitating to. And not only that, they're being encouraged by their
Exactly.
old mamas to be
Yeah.
this way. They're being encouraged. I mean, I had to tell my sister-in-law a couple weeks ago, because her son, he's like 12 years old, and he was getting ready to come. Actually, he was getting ready to come with me, and he had his bag, and he went back in the house. And when he came out, she was like, "Oh, where were you?" He was like, "Oh, I had to take a leak like that." And she was like, "Oh, don't say leak, say pee or something like that." And I thought that was one of the most emasculating moments ever because it was in front of me. And I was like, you need to stop doing that shit because you're emasculating that boy. And like all women, first thing come out of their mouth, "Oh, no, I'm not. I'm a man." Yes, you are. Okay?
Yep.
You don't know what emasculation is. Okay? I do. I'm looking at it. You're emasculating the boy. Okay? See, if we need to stymie that kind of shit. Because see, what often happens with young boys, right? They get that kind of treatment from the time they're infant all the way up until they move out of their mama house, right? So when they go out in the world, this is how they view shit. They still talking about, they still saying pee instead of leak. Okay. They saying pee instead of piss. And guess what? They probably still sitting down too. Me and my wife had went to Home Depot, right? And my wife, she get in the store and shit, and she just be all over the goddamn place. So I'm in there because I know exactly what I'm going to get. But she like to walk around and fuck around and shit. So she walks up to the paint section, right? And it's a brother there, and I mean, this dude is, he's a huge dude. Okay, he's bigger than me, and I'm 6'2". This dude was like 6'5", buff, big. And when she walked up to him and started speaking to him, he was like, "Hello, ma'am. How you doing?" I was like, and even my wife was like, "Jesus Christ, I didn't expect that from this big old, he's a big old dude." And he was like, "Hey, ma'am,
Yeah.
how you doing?" I mean, he sounded like a 12-year-old girl. And this dude had to be 250 pounds, standing at 6'5". He sounded like a 12-year-old girl. And my wife was like, "What's wrong with this guy?" I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. He was raised by his mama. That's why the motherfucker like that. He's 6'5", and he sound like, a fifth grader and shit." So this is what happens to these young men, man. I mean, they go through this shit they whole, especially the young men who have no male influence. They don't have their father. They don't have an uncle or grandfather or an older cousin. They have none of that. It's just them, sisters, mama, grandma, and old ratchet aunties.
I mean, if you even think about it too, man, look at the dances of today's era. Like, I never, when I was in elementary school, junior high school, man, we weren't dancing like these kids are dancing now with the nay, whatever the fuck else these niggas are doing, looking like straight up women. What the fuck are y'all doing, man?
This is what we have, though, man. This is what we have. We have this situation where the world has catered to women for quite some time. And with black folks, when white folks catch a cold, black folks catch the pneumonia. Okay. Oh, yeah. So whatever's going on, because it's going on in other societies too, especially in white society. So it comes down on black folks tenfold. Why? Because see, we already have a kind of gynocentric kind of thing going on with us anyway, because most of us are raised by our mamas. So we're going to feel the effects of that much greater, because see, we're already in like this kind of matriarchal kind of society any fucking way, where women kind of sit at the top of it. Why? Because mostly women are controlling the children. They have control of the next generation. Okay, they have control of it because they have the kids. They're raising the kids. They're telling these boys to be docile. They're telling these boys to, say pee instead of take a leak. This is the shit that they're feeding them, that they need to not speak a certain way, that they need not to act a certain way. They need not to walk a certain way. And whatever masculine traits she can't take from you verbally, she beats the rest of it out of you.
Oh yeah.
She beats it out of you, man. She beats it out of you. Absolutely. She does.
The funny thing is too, but at least from my understanding, throughout time, at leach prior to, I would say, the 21st century, black families have always been, they haven't been, led by men per se. They've always been led by women. They've always been matriarchies. Of course, men would work, but ultimately, the day-to-day operations would be controlled by women. So the question that I have is that why does it seem that now, right, women have for years pretty much been in charge of their own homes and their own households? Why has it seems to me like the behavior has changed with young black men, despite the fact that black women have always been in control of their homes? What has caused that?
To be honest with you, I truly believe that we have what we're seeing now, brothers. This has built up over the course of time, man. I mean, the emasculation and the feminization of young black boys. This has been a long time coming, man. This shit has been set into motion, man, decades and decades ago, man. I mean, I'm not even surprised how things are. I'm really not. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with how things are now, man, because this is something that's been set into motion for years. And unfortunately, a lot of us within black society, we have bought into it hook, line, and goddamn sinker. We bought into it, man. We bought into it. We thought this was the way. Okay. We thought this is how it was supposed to be because this is what we were taught. And now it's become normal. It's become normal for our freaking sons to be walking around with skinny jeans and freaking sparkly shoes and goddamn and these little tiny shirts, you know, with their pants, these little skinny jeans with their pants hanging off their ass and shit. And fucking they got makeup on and fake eyelashes and all this kind of nonsense, looking like Peter Pan and shit. It's become normal.
Yeah.
It's I'm telling you, it has become normal. And let me tell you something. These women do not discourage it. They don't discourage this kind of behavior. You think they discourage a little 5-year-old boy who like to wear dresses? You think they try to discourage that? No. Shit, they'll go and buy him some more. Yep. They're glad he's like that.
Or they'll be at home watching what Real Housewives of Atlanta or Basketball Wives with their son sitting right next to them, absorbing everything that's happening on TV, all of the behavior, all of the back and forth, the sassiness, right? This is, and I think that also is something that we have to consider here is reality TV. I think that's a major reason why Black women behave the way they do these days is because I think they're duplicating or they're mimicking the behavior they see on TV, and it's spilling into the way they treat their children, where their children behave. It's all one big fucking sideshow is what this shit is.
Yep. It's a goddamn minstrel show, man. And the results from it, man, are horrible, man. We're seeing the results, man. We're seeing the results of sons being raised by people who probably don't have no business raising kids in the first goddamn place. Okay. I think a lot of these people, man, don't even need kids. Now, people may get mad at me and send me hate mail and all that kind of bullshit. But a lot of these people, man, they shouldn't even have kids and they goddamn care, man. They shouldn't even have children and they care. They shouldn't. And far as the sons of these people go, I've always been an advocate of fathers coming in and taking their kids from these women because I had to do it. I had to take my youngest daughter. I had full custody of her. I had to because her damn mama was a fool. Yeah, she's a fool. And boy, they ran me through the ringer, boy, to do it. Boy, they had me jumping through all kinds of hoops. And I lived in Suffolk County, okay, which is a very, very white county. All right. Before they gave me my daughter, they came to my house. They called my job. They want to make sure I had medical coverage. They want to make sure that I made enough money. They came to my house. They checked the sink, make sure the water was running, flipped the light switch, make sure the toilet flushed. They had to make sure, goddamn it, they had to make sure I had a place for the kid to sleep. They did all of that bullshit. Now, mind you, and I've talked about this before. At that time, I worked for Terminix International. Okay, I was a compliance specialist. All right. I was a liaison between the company and the Department of Environmental Conservation. Worked in an office, believe it or not. Office dude. Okay. Went to work every day, briefcase, shirt and tie. Sort of like I look now. That's the kind of gig that I had. And I made good money. But they made me go through all that shit. Now, mind you, her old mama, no job, no car, no nothing. She leaving my baby home by herself and also kind of nonsense. But they make me go through all this shit. And even when I went through all of that, when I finally got in front of the judge asked me, oh, is it really necessary for you to take this kid away from her mother? I'm like, what? Like, she leave the kid home by herself all the time. I mean, you making me go through all this shit because, and I got it going on. I got my own place. I got enough money to take care of my baby. But you would rather have the baby living somewhere, being left home by themselves and eating roaches and shit. So
it's deeper than that. Too, look, they give these women places to live and food to eat.
Yeah.
The government enables these single ass. You know what? I was about to call him a name. I ain't gonna do that.
Ah, ha, ha. Well, we done been joined by the Cap. What's good, Cap?
What's happening, gentlemen?
What's going on? What's going on, man? What you think
What up,
about
what
what
up?
we talk? What you think about what we talking about here, Cap?
Man, like when I came up to your live stream, man, I was on my way to the store. Y'all talking about whoopings. And I understand, about whoopings. Because I used to get my ass whooped almost on a daily basis. Because I was a little wild child, you know what I'm saying? You know, out of 3 kids. And I'm the oldest. But as I got older, you know, after learning, you know, going to the military, they taught me ways how you ain't got to whoop a child, you know, and they could beat you if they want to, but other than that, they don't have to. So I brought that lessons back to the civilian world. Like when my brother moved close to me and he got 3 kids, well, the son acts right. I ain't got no problem with the son, but it's the 2 girls, the 2 nieces I had a problem with. So I turned to drill instructor mode right there. I made them do push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, everything. Until they start answering my damn questions. I understand, why are you doing this? Why are you down here where I'm making your muscles burn? If you want that burn to stop, you better answer my damn questions here or now. I mean, we was right there at a family function. And I didn't give a damn because I didn't want to see the repeat of how his life, my life, turned out. I'm trying to change it because he don't see what I see. Because his initial reaction is to grab the belt. I told him, you don't have to grab the belt. You go in their room, you take what they love most, and you hold it. Now, if they want it back, you make them earn it back. You ain't gotta whoop them. They will do whatever the fuck they gotta do. We gotta stop doing what we were brought up by. You know, belt, switch, the stitching cord, all that shit, bro. You know, but he didn't want to listen because I said, man, if you pull your mind away from the NFL and all that shit and see what's really going on, how any little small discrepancy that your kid might commit, they're gonna send your kid to a juvenile camp, and that juvenile camp is considered like a prison camp, free labor. You definitely don't have the money for a goddamn lawyer. And don't run to me because we helped your ass out a whole lot of issues. So I'm trying to show you something. I mean, I was a drill instructor at a boot camp. Kids respected me. I was an assistant taekwondo instructor. Kids and the parents respected me because of what the Marine Corps taught me, how to deal with kids. You got to go get physical with them. You don't have to. There's a way how you got to present yourself. And talk.
You a question?
Yes, sir, brother. Go ahead, brother.
What if you tell your child, hey, man, I want 20 push-ups, and he says, fuck you, daddy, I ain't doing shit.
That? Okay,
now it's a fight.
Oh, no, it's no fight. I've dealt with it. Trust me, I've dealt with it. I say, say for instance, like I was in the drill instructor, and they wouldn't do what I say. I said, you know, it's time to eat, right? You want to eat? You hungry, right? Get your ass down and do them goddamn 25 push-ups. All my nieces. I say, you want that snack? You want to go play with your little kitten? You want to do this and that? You gotta do what I fucking say. And while you're doing that stuff, you're gonna answer my questions. So in this way, you won't learn how to be back down here again on the ground, pushing the earth.
You go to sleep one night and then you hear rustling inside of the kitchen. And so you go to investigate and you see your son in the cupboard eating fucking cupcakes and motherfucker else he can find while your ass is asleep. What do you do then?
Okay. I said
all of it. Everything in the refrigerator.
There you go. Right? That's the right answer.
Every damn thing in the refrigerator.
Starving the child instead of whooping it?
No, I ain't gonna whoop him. No.
Everything in the refrigerator.
So you're gonna take the food. You're going to say, well, do what I say or you can't eat. Is that what we're suggesting here?
No. Do what I say until you can eat.
It's about earning the right. Nothing is a right in this goddamn country or on this planet. Nothing is a right. You got to earn it.
Earn the right to eat?
You got to earn it. It's like Just like if you're homeless, you think you're gonna go up there and ask? You got to put in that work to beg. You got to put in that work to.
Child Protective Services were getting your ass for beating your children. Wait till you see what they do when they find out you ain't feeding that motherfucker. Then they really gonna take him away.
Well, hey, that's it. But see, that's what I'm trying to say. You gotta let them know, because my brother put me in a position where the Child Protective Services called me because of an incident that happened with his kids, and I told them, "Say, I know I never saw my brother, physically whooped him or nothing like that, because they at work. I babysit, but I'm a military man, so I know how to get to him without having to put my hands on him, and that's what helped save his ass. You know what I'm saying? It helps. Now, I would have said, yeah, I saw him whooping my nieces and nephews and stuff because they earned it. Guess what? Yes, the Child Protective Services will come and take those kids away. But I know what those people, the government is about. And I save his ass. And he still show his ungrateful side right fucking now. I helped that motherfucker get a goddamn brand new house. And that shit like, my house is older than his, but his house is newer. And that shit like it's been in there like 25 years. All ragged out already. Nasty. That's why I don't go visit his ass. Because he got no goddamn discipline.
But isn't that that's part of the problem, right? Because we see these young men, because we all see it. We see it on the news. We see it on the internet. We see it on television. We see the Chicagos. We see the Detroits. We see these cities where dozens and dozens of people are getting shot and killed every damn week, if not every other day. We know what causes this. Now, of course, we have people who say, well, it's the white power structure making these people go out and murder folks. And what's the other one I hear? They're dumping guns in alleys and people are grabbing them. Also I hear, well, it's the cops dressing up in blackface and they're going out shooting the people. You hear all this kind of nonsense. You just hear all this kind of nonsense about why Negroes is laying dead in the street. But in reality, we know why Negroes are laying dead in the street, because these people have no mental discipline. These people have no physical discipline. They don't have any emotional discipline. Therefore, when they go out in these streets, toting guns and shooting at folks haphazardly with impunity. You know why they're doing that? Not just because they lack physical, mental, and emotional discipline. These people lack respect for life. They don't respect life. You know why they don't respect life? Because they've been raised by motherfuckers who do not respect life.
Hey, can I back you up, brother?
Go ahead, Cap.
Yes, sir. I was raised by a single mother. Well, matter of fact, I was raised by my grandmother. My mother lived right across, like maybe like a mile or two away. I could walk there all the time. And I'm the firstborn. And she took care of my sister and my little brother and stuff. So we had a different lifestyle, unfortunately. And you're right, it's the women. And sometimes the women don't understand that it's because when you're raising a boy, you don't know exactly how to raise them. So like one time I came, I used to visit home when I was working in the oil field, which is a very hard job. And people will come there because I'm buying barbecue, all that kind of stuff. And then when I was trying to put my nieces and nephew in check, my mama had the nerve to say, "You won't talk to no grown man that way." And I just simply turn around and say, "You know what? You don't know what the fuck I can do. You don't know what I did on the battlefield. You don't know what the fuck I did in life. You don't know nothing." And then I said, "You know what? I'm out of here. Fuck this shit." And since then, she respected me because I addressed her. Because she don't know what the hell I did. She don't know what the fucking pain I go through, what I live through right now. I got to fight the fucking VA. being a combat veteran. She don't understand that, but now she do. She sees it. She sees my anger. She sees my pain. She sees how I don't want to talk to no fucking body. I don't want to deal with nobody. I said, see, so it took you that damn long to make you understand that, mama? It took you that damn long. All you want to do is whoop my goddamn ass back then. That's all you want to do. But as soon as your son took heed of his own life to learn what is it to be a fucking man. And I went out there and did it. Now I come back and you got your audacity to try and embarrass me in front of family members, but yet I won. I put you in check because you wasn't there for me like you supposed to be. But I'm not rubbing it in your fucking face.
Well, this goes back to what I said earlier about women not knowing how to connect with their sons. They don't know how to relate to men, young men, boys, because they are not boys. They are girls. They are women.
I agree.
The reason why they choose to use physical force is because they don't know any other way to get a boy or a male in line. What are they going to do? What are they going to say?
And you know what's the sad part? You know what the sad part, brother? It's like, okay, I used to walk around with a lot of anger towards my dad because he wasn't there. I was his firstborn, right? But now me and my dad are tight. I'm more tight with my dad that wasn't in my life than my mom that was so-called in my life. And I think I sensed like a jealousy or envy through her or from her. And I said, don't be mad, mama. And, maybe something went on between you and Pops. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But I know every boy needs a man in his damn life, just like he needs his mother. And same thing for the daughter. She needs a man and her mother. But you don't sit back. You back there on your fucking emotions. Get off your fucking emotions and listen.
You gotta remember this too. It's not as if these women are getting married and then planning these births. A lot of these women get pregnant without even knowing. They find out 3 or 4 months into the goddamn pregnancy, right? The children is a bastard. It's an unplanned pregnancy. They're kind of thrust into that role. They're not planning for it. They're not prepared for it. And many of them don't even embrace it. They kind of just struggle through it because they have to.
So, go ahead, brother. Whoever's next. Go ahead. I'll wait.
No, bro. I just want to tell you. This is OG60. I just want to tell you. Thank you for your service. I do a lot of work with another brother who deals with. There's a soldier commit suicide every minute of the day. Nobody's talking about that. So I want to commend you for your service. And I'm hoping you find you a good advocate so you can fight against that VA, because there are a lot of brothers out there who are really hurting. Nobody's talking about the suicide rate. Now, just think about what I just said. A person is committing suicide every minute of the day who have served in the military. And nobody's talking about that. So I want to commend you for your service. And I hope they get your thing together. That's all I wanted to say.
You know what? I love hearing that appreciation through my people, a brother, sister. I don't want to hear from a goddamn cracker because they don't appreciate shit. But I thank you, brother, for acknowledging my service and whatever you're trying to do to help out veterans yourself, man. Salute to you, man, to the fullest.
I don't know that they don't appreciate. I mean,
No, brother, trust me. I'm a veteran. I know. I can tell the difference.
I've seen plenty of white veterans on the street too. I don't think it has anything to do with race. I know plenty of white people who support the military. In fact, if you go back to the whole kneeling thing in the NFL, the people who were complaining most about that were white, and it's because many of their family members served in the military, and they felt like kneeling during the national anthem was disrespectful. So we can't say that white people don't appreciate those who have served and fought in war. I think that's unfair.
Oh, okay, let me rephrase what I said.
Getting off the original topic.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. I'm going to rephrase what I said, though. What it is, seeing, okay, that kneeling. What it is, they're using that as they say, like for Kaepernick to kneel because of injustice or police brutality. White folks, majority of white folks, they use that sign and say you're disrespecting you're disrespecting the flag, you're disrespecting the veterans. But there's a lot of veterans that no, Kaepernick is doing it right. But yet you do have some veterans that side with those racist side, you know. But me, when I hear a black person say thank you, that means a whole lot more to me because we are in a situation right now to fight for our fucking feet. Just go to your job. Just go shopping. Take your kid out to the park. Do something like that. Without having somebody call the fucking cops on you for something that's non-threatening or instigating. Nothing. It's always these male people that's the one that's calling the goddamn cops. So, yes, I'm skeptical when I hear a white person say, thank you for your service. I want to say, fuck you. But when my brother and sister, I say thank you.
People a pass. I'm not giving them a pass. Trust me, I know, brother. I know, but it's just to get back to though the original topic, and I appreciate the service as well. I think that soldiers should be the highest paid individuals in the country.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Have we as black people have we adopted the ways of the white man or should I say, have we bastardized it, how we treat our sons? Because I say again, like I said earlier, the devaluing of the male species is pretty universal. It's not just us. So have we picked that shit up from white people where we think men are expendable? We don't think men's lives are worth a thing or matter at all. Therefore, that shit transcends right down to our sons. Because guess what? What are our sons except little versions of us? All right, they're the future us. They're the future men. Therefore, their lives don't mean anything. You don't have to even have the decent respect for the child. You don't have to. You can dehumanize the child. I believe that is why these women beat these children so badly. Because if a man does have to physically discipline his son, it's never as brutal as the mama does. It's never as brutal. It just isn't. I mean, you have some outliers out there, but for the most part, if a man gets to the point where he has to physically discipline his son, it's never as brutal as his old mama's discipline. Never. So have we picked that up from white folks where we don't see much value in males or men, therefore we don't see much value in boys?
Absolutely. I keep
How could we not?
To feminism.
How could we not?
Yeah, and I know that I may sound like I am against feminism. I'm not against feminism in the original sense, but it has changed. It has morphed into this man-hating movement that is really causing women to look down at men, at males in general. And it's a fucking problem. And unfortunately, white women have convinced black women that they are experiencing the same problems, despite the fact that black women have never been abused or mistreated or marginalized in the black community. If anything, we have protected them and vice versa. We've had to. How the fuck could black men ever oppress anybody? We don't have shit to oppress anybody with.
Exactly, brother. Another thing, you might like say, for instance, you get a troll coming to this chat room right now and say, well, I just came into a racist channel. So no, how can we be racist? We don't have the financial power, the social power where it can cause effectiveness to your household, to your employment, to your bank loans. None of that. We can't be racist, but yes, we can be prejudiced. It's a difference. And sometimes you gotta break it down to this goddamn troll. No, you racist motherfucker. Even though you a goddamn meth head out there on the goddamn street begging, you still got the complexion to get your ass up off your goddamn ass and go out there and get a goddamn real job. Because they're
And
gonna
they
look
call
out for
it
it.
national crisis when you get high, but when it was crack, they wanted to lock our ass up.
Right, right,
You know
brother.
they
They
have
call it a
injection
national
centers
crisis, but they had to bring people in to help you. Let me throw this out because I gotta go and leave off the channel. But I want to throw this in, my brothers, since we're talking. Have any one of you ever went out and purchased a tuxedo to do a wedding for one of your friends or anything?
A wedding?
Yes, I have.
You have, right?
I have.
A tuxedo. Have you
Yeah.
ever?
Oh. No, I haven't, brother.
Okay, well,
Done it a couple times.
what happens, Mr. X, once that tuxedo worn to that wedding and that damn thing just hangs up in the closet and
Yeah.
you get ready to give
You
it away?
You never. Yeah, you never wear it again. You never wear it again.
Right? So
ain't shit to wear it to.
When they brought us over here was for us to work the land. All right? They no longer need us to work the land. You got to understand that. Hell, they got robots making robots now. It ain't just men making robots. They got robots making robots now. Making computer parts and everything else. So what you think when you look at it is taking care of killing two birds with one stone. Now think about what I'm going to tell you right now. You see, the average white man already know that he can't defeat the black man. Heads up. He couldn't even defeat the little boys over there with no shoes on. The first Korean War he lost. The North Korea War he lost. But think about this. Who can he get to make us weak?
Black women.
Our women are our kryptonite. And that's not a bad thing because they were made to be the opposite of us.
Right.
But somebody come in and use them to get us weak so he can come in. Because I always tell the black woman, if they kill all of us all over the world, all the black males all over the world, who the hell you think is next? You the only one, you the manufacturer who can produce, you the only thing on this planet who can produce black men. Your ass is next, but now you ain't got no protection. You thought your protection was a little weak, but you ain't got none now. So that's what happens when you go and buy something or you go want to use something for a certain purpose and you no longer have that purpose to use that anymore, you destroy it. You throw it in the garbage. So they are using our women.
Exactly.
Right now, and I'm not complaining about anything because whatever they try, I know how to counterflank it.
But it's working though.
Flank me all you want to, but I know how to counterflank.
You know how to counter it, but it's working on a national and dare I say global scale. They are turning our women against us, and I mentioned this earlier, by empowering them. That's how they're doing it.
Most certainly.
If you
look, you know, brothers was beat with whips by women in slavery, by black women in slavery. That's right.
Because you know these white folks they've been playing. I don't want to say just regular chess, but they've been playing devilish chess.
And it's we playing checkers.
Yeah, while we playing checkers, exactly, brother.
They don't went to the movie, came back, and we still flying kites.
Oh yeah. They've been playing this shit years in advance. Look, do you realize by the year 2053, white people will be outnumbered in this country and probably worldwide? They will be the minority. They've been playing this shit for decades, man.
So ain't number 15% of the world, brother.
I'm not surprised
at
all.
It's in their best interest for black men to be effeminate. Exactly. And I think that a lot of these women have been convinced of that as well, that it's in their best interest for their sons to be effeminate for whatever reason that they think it is, whether they do it purposely or inadvertently. I think that they have a stake in their sons being this way as well.
Because the penis looked like the pistola. And it was called the equalizer. So the black man's dick have always
Yeah.
frighten the white community due to the fact is he had to shoot your ass with an M16 or drop a damn bomb on you or shoot a bomb from a damn drone. Only thing you have to do is zip it down your pants and you can kill his whole creation.
Wait a minute.
Hey Jay,
White man got dicks too though. Like let's not.
Hey Jay, who's that? Jay, who's that sister that said that? That quote you just made? I can't remember her name. She's one of our elders.
Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
Yes.
Francis Cress Welsing.
Right, that's it. I give her all her due because she did a study on psycho, the mind, how the mind and the brain work. She wrote her papers on it called the ISIS papers. So we got to understand this, why this has happened. And it's not this. Let me just be honest with you. It's not to say all white people are like that because the underground railroad did not have been run.
Brother Haywood, you crazy, man.
Underground railroad.
First of all, you guys must not be familiar with Big John Holmes. You need to look him up. Plenty of white dudes out there are well endowed like black men. I won't call it a myth that black men tend to be more well endowed, but let's not dismiss white men as all having small penises. That's not the truth. And I don't think they're intimidated by the size of our penises because at the end of the day,
you didn't get it, brother. You thought about something totally different what I was saying. Wait a minute. Just listen for a second. I was not talking about the size of the brother's penis. What I'm saying is, if a white woman, listen for a second. If a white man want to kill the black community, they gonna have to use drugs, viruses, and all guns, gunpowder, bombs. What I was saying is, the only thing a black man has to do is zip down his pants, stick it in a little white woman, take his penis out, stick it in a little white woman, even though she said, yeah, you can stick it in there. The baby is not going to look like him anymore. Once you mix chocolate with vanilla, it can never be vanilla again. And that's what he can't do. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about being afraid of the dick because of the size of it. It's being afraid of what it can produce.
You haven't seen this? You don't think they're prepared for this? What do you see on TV in these commercials? You see racially ambiguous motherfuckers who look like they're mixed with something. White men have been promoting this. How often do you see a white man with a black woman on billboards, in movies, in magazines? They're conditioning black women to pursue white men and procreate
because they're trying to live, brother. It's about annihilation. Do you understand? They would take a half breed over no breed any day.
I agree with you, and I'm saying that they don't need black men for that. They can do it themselves.
They can't do it themselves.
They can't do it.
They tried it. They tried it in the laboratory with the DNA. They can't produce the same thing. It has to come through a certain kind of vibration. They don't try all that shit. It don't work. That's why they using our body part. Do you know a black man and a black woman's body part can fit everybody on the planet? And another thing, when you were talking about Chicago, let me tell you something. Let me ask brother Mr. Fantastic, and let me ask Captain. How good a marksman you have to be to hit all the victims, 89% of them headshots, doing through a damn drive-by? Now, who in the hell you know that accurate in our community? Listen what I just said. 89% of all the people who's been killed in Chicago are hit with headshots.
That's militarized shots right there. Because black folks, I know they just want to turn the gun sideways and put it out. And they don't give a fuck who they shoot. But these particular targets.
Hold on. You just said 89% of all people killed in Chicago were shot in the head.
I'm telling you again. Listen to what I just said, and that's why I asked the two military specialists. 89% of all the drive-by shootings in Chicago, it's 89% of headshots. I don't know that many people could be that goddamn accurate with turning a gun to the side or driving down the street when a goddamn police had to shoot 16 times to just hit a motherfucker 3 or 4 times. So what I'm trying to say is, how in the hell they getting all these headshots and all these bodies turning up at the funeral with no damn body parts in them?
Where can I ask you where you get that? What report is that statistic?
I wanna let me ask Brother Fantastic what he thinks about that.
Brother Fantastic, go ahead, brother.
Yeah,
Hey,
he's
what's
a
up,
former
man?
military. He's a military guy too. So, what do you think about what the OG just said?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's so many different variables into things. As far as like the accuracy of unfortunate people that meet their demise over street shit and nigga shit. Who knows, man? I don't know. Hell, they just showed the thing. I think he might be alluding to some of the theories that maybe some of these people aren't actually the people at the street level doing these killings. It may be something else. I heard that a couple of times here or there, but more so than not, more likely than not, I mean, you have the other side of that, and you have proof of it when just now, over the 4th of July holiday, I think they said, one of the bloodiest times in the Chicago history, they did a story about that. So it's far too much collateral damage to that exists to disprove or go against that theory.
Hey, brother, Mister. I'm sorry, I can't see the rest of your name.
Mr. Fantastic, what's up, man?
Yeah, brother. What branch you serving, my brother?
I'm in the Navy.
Okay, well, brother, you know how Marines are, brother. And what the other brother was talking about, yeah, those shots. He's how he's addressing the headshots. Man, that's an expert shot. You gotta be either Army, Marines to get those kind of shots, or Navy SEALs, or Army Special Forces, something like that. But I even tried to teach some of my homeboys when I got the military how to shoot the gun correctly, how to maneuver, this and that. So to hear like accurate, what the brother just gave the statistics of somebody get headshots, man, that's trained shit, brother.
Yeah.
What in the fuck are we talking about right now? What is going on?
Well, this
brother, go ahead,
this
brother.
is what I think. A lot of those shootings that these sons of these freaking crazy because I'm a true believer. Well, like I said before, we hear all these theories that they're dumping the guns in alleys and it's police in blackface and all this kind of nonsense. See, me, I don't believe any of that shit. I believe that Negroes is out there crazy, okay? And they just shooting folks because they don't give a shit about people's lives. They've been raised by people who don't give a shit about other people's lives because they don't give a shit about their own. Therefore, they have indoctrinated these boys with this shit. These boys have internalized that. And when they go out, they'll shoot your ass in the head for stepping on their sneaker. They will shoot your ass in the head because they want the jacket that you got on. They will shoot you in your goddamn head because they don't like the way you looked at them.
Yeah.
So I'm not buying the whole there's these military specialists just riding out in Chicago and picking these targets and picking people off, random people out of nowhere, and they're just shooting them in the head from some secret location.
Brother Prophet. Okay. Speaking of guns, let's speak aside other something else. Like, did you see the videos how they tried to set up, the neighborhood with a trailer full of Nike shoes? Now, if they can bring Nike shoes in, they can bring weapons in too.
Man, ain't no fucking way that happened. Okay, and by the way, just because you drop off some guns in the neighborhood doesn't mean you're forcing them niggas to pick them up and shoot them.
Nope.
Like, let's not do this shit, man.
Yeah, nope.
That's true.
Finding excuses for this shit. I'm telling you right now, man. Look, if you park your car in front of my house and leave the keys, now I can be tempted to steal that motherfucker, but I gotta put the key in the ignition and press the gas and peel the fuck off. Okay.
But what? But the question is, why would they do? Why would they set it up like that? Why would they put why would they put a bait cart out there or a trailer out there?
I'm gonna tell you why. The same why, cause today, right? I went out today. Now, y'all all know I'm a mechanical engineer. I have my own shop and the whole nine. It's what I do for a living, right? I left today, right? I left out today on a mobile call, and I went, down Ray Road. right? And I'm going on my mobile call, and soon as I go, past a small intersection inside of a cul-de-sac, I see a cop come zooming out of that motherfucker, chasing somebody down. You know what was behind that cop? 5 more cop cars. What they were doing is they were all lined up sitting there waiting for motherfuckers to come by speeding, and each cop came out. When a motherfucker came by and sped out, they went out, because that's what the police do. The police sets traps for people. That's what they do. They're the police. But if you're going to dip your hand, if you're going to step into the trap, you can't blame the police for setting it. Oh, well, they set the trap. I had to pick that gun up. I had to pick that Uzi up.
Brother Prophet. Oh, go ahead, brother Cory. Go ahead, bro.
So it's just. But here's the thing, man. We always point fingers at the white man and the powers that be for our fuck ups. Yes, there are forces of oppression and racism that continue to stifle our progress and continue to really wreak havoc in our communities on a daily basis. But eventually, we just have to look in the mirror and say, you know what? We fucking up. Can we just admit that just once? One fucking time.
We don't want to do it. We don't want to do it. Well, we about to wrap up, because it's 1:00. God damn it, and I gotta be up in like 5 hours. So,
brother.
Give everybody the last word, and we're gonna close out. Whoever want to go first, can. Last thoughts, final thoughts.
Hey, I'll hop up in and get out real quick, man. X, man, I really appreciate it as always, man. Having you on your platform and taking the time out, man. You're doing a lot of great work, man. It's extremely critical and important that we focus on the importance of Black fathers in the household, and them structuring and building up the future of Black men for the society, man. And thanks again, bro. And we'll catch you on the next one, man. Thanks.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming through, man, brother. Fantastic, man. Always a pleasure to have you around, man. I see you on the other side.
For sure.
Peace.
All right, Navy.
Next.
I like to tell my people, man, like, read your Constitution, and at the same time, read the Book of Art of War, and lastly, keep a mentality like you are living behind enemy lines, so you gotta have a mindset to say I can die anytime, even though I'm not doing anything wrong. So if you get caught in a situation, be ready. Just go ahead and fight out, because the white mainstream media is gonna consider you a felon anyway. Even like they say, like, hell, well, he stole a pencil from a goddamn classmate in kindergarten. They go way back. So in the meantime, just go ahead and have those 3 factors locked in your fucking head, because it saved me a whole lot. It saved me because of my license plates. They see disabled veteran, they see United States Marine Corps, and they know that Marines, we can snap. If you want to snap, you push us the wrong fucking way. But I want people to get that same mindset. Get that same mindset. We're behind enemy lines. It's okay to die for your family, die for your freedom, when you know that it's been. But anyway, I said enough. Go ahead, brother. And I thank you, brother Prophet, for allowing me on your panel, brother.
Absolutely, Cap. Anytime, Cory.
Hey man, these ratchet hoes are some of the worst stewards of children on earth, and they must be stopped.
They must be stopped.
That's all I gotta say, man.
Well, I'm just gonna say this, man. Like I said, man, at the beginning of this stream, I don't think we put enough emphasis on young male children. I think we are so fascinated with the idea of pushing up girls and trying to uplift them and teach them that they can do anything and they can have everything and all this kind of nonsense. I think likewise we should be doing that type of shit for the male children. Why? because society has taught males that they are expendable, that they are not worth anything, that they are just, if they're not just a spoonful of sperm, they are just a wallet. So I think we need to change that. And I think it needs to start when these little tykes are young. Okay. I'm talking 2, 3, and 4. We need to change it from there, because that's when the indoctrination usually starts. That's when the effemination of these young boys usually starts. That's when it usually starts.
I
When they're
agree.
little.
I agree.
That's when it usually starts.
And the food.
Yep, these young boys are being, yeah, you're right, infantry skills. These young boys are being taught not to value anything, not to respect anything, not to understand anything,
Good pussy.
including themselves. And
That's how you
that
think it.
needs to change. I'm just saying. But anyway, I
You're right.
appreciate it. I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. Good stream. Good to have my man, Brother Haywood, on here again. You know, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, everybody in the chat, and especially I want to thank you for showing up tonight, spending some time with us, watching us on the TPOT YouTube page. Now, what I need you to do now is go to Proper the Thought series on Facebook. That's Proper the Thought, one word series, next word, on Facebook. That's our main page. It's a community page. Go ahead, like the page, share the page, follow the page. There's always some good shit going on up there, and you can kind of keep track of what's going on the TPOT YouTube page. You also can leave me a message there, and I'm guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. Also, while you're on Facebook, get on down to the Proper the Thought series fan group page. That's right, the Proper the Thought series fan group page. Go ahead, request to be a member. You're guaranteed to get up in there quick. If you have any problems, just let me know. I'll talk to the admins, because I don't even admin the shit. I tell y'all this all the time. Sometimes my shit get blocked. I'll be like, what the hell? So if you got problems getting in there, go ahead and drop me a line. Y'all all know my email. Drop me a line, and I'll talk to the admins and make sure you get up in there. A lot of people in there. I think it's like 3,000 now, almost, somewhere in there. So there's always people in there posting shit. So you ain't always got to listen to X run his mouth. There's other people down there running their damn mouth too. You know what I mean? Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper the Thought on Instagram. Leave the series out. Proper the Thought on Instagram. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. You guarantee to get a follow back. And also, get your black behinds down to Twitter and follow us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. Go ahead, follow us on Twitter, because if you don't, I won't haunt you in your dreams tomorrow. I will haunt your mama in her dreams tonight.
Brother Prophet.
Yeah, what's up, Cap?
Man, to be honest, brother, I don't fuck with none of those social nonsense. I don't.
It's all good. You don't have to. You here.
Yeah, that's all. I
you here.
Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that, brother.
So, once again, I want to thank everybody for coming through. I also want to thank my esteemed guest, the Capt.PY2, J Speed, OG60, and of course, Brother Fantastic, and my man, Brother Cory Haywood. I respect all you brothers greatly, and I appreciate you coming up on the TPOT YouTube page. Everybody out there, check us out next week, same time, same station, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on DXL on the TPOT YouTube page. So, with
Stay safe. That's all my thing.
Absolutely. With that, I will leave you with 3 words, like I always do.
Dark exodus.
Open your minds. And we are out of here, y'all.
Think about this.
We gotta stop this shit now. Peace, folks.
Dark exodus.
Only from TV. Open your minds.